You enjoy the show overall, though?
You know what? Night two definitely was better than night one.
Night two saved it for me, yo. I mean,
Yeah, really.
and now that being said, I mean, there was still, I still had some beefs. I mean, we'll touch on it once we get into it, but there's still a lot of stuff on night two that I didn't really fuck with. But overall, as a full viewing experience, it was much more fun. I mean, I thought night one was a snooze fest for half of it at least.
And on that note, this is Top Ropes and Topes, the podcast. We got Eloquent in the house. I'm Jay Boogie.
Gang.
Hell yeah. And we're obviously talking about post Mania 40. Okay, we'll just start at night one. Get night one out of the way.
Let's do it. All
Okay.
right.
So, oh man. So we got the Meek Mill intro. Okay. No surprise. Philly.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad. I'm glad that he was involved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seemed almost like a like you're in Philly. Meek is arguably the biggest star like rapper from Philly
Yeah.
right now, anyways. So yeah,
Yeah.
got him involved.
Uh, Coco Jones did the anthem, which was dope.
Yeah, she was dope. Um, Man, I don't know if I want to get into like my hot takes right away, but
I mean, you may as well.
I might as well. Well, but it's not even so much of a wrestling or a WWE thing, but I've never really understood like the national anthem at a pro wrestling show. I mean, frankly, I don't really understand it for just sports events in general. But I mean, I don't know. I don't want to offend anyone who's like just super patriotic in general. I've just never
Yeah.
understood it.
I don't get it either, to be honest, because I mean, whatever. It is what it is, I
It is
guess.
what it is. Yep.
It's sports
But
entertainment.
yeah, but Coco held it down though.
Yes, definitely. Going in to the weekend, I'm going to assume you had some predictions.
I did.
Okay.
Um, Now it's funny you say that because yeah, I definitely had some predictions. There was at least one or two matches that I didn't even know were going to be on the card, and I mean we'll get to them when we get to them. Um, I thought that. I mean, I don't want to say that it was a predictable show because because look, I don't think there's anything wrong with predictable if the story is well told and it the
Yeah.
result has you feeling a way, be it good or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, it's just predictable stuff when you're already not entertained. That's where it gets a little bit dicey. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, like on my personal predictions, I think I might have gotten two or three wrong, but
Okay.
uh, but I mean I wasn't like angry
Yeah.
about getting so many of them right or anything like that.
Yeah. I think with WWE,
Hmm.
I think it's almost commonplace to do that with WWE shows anyway.
Well, it's especially WrestleMania, where
Yeah,
it's kind of I
exactly.
mean, at least the way that it's been sort of designed is, this is the Super Bowl,
Yeah,
and we can assume that starting tomorrow, will be a full reset
yeah,
of most stories. So it's like, okay, if we're gonna pay everything off, give folks what they want.
yeah, yeah. It's essentially the end of the season,
Yep, hundred
right?
percent. Yep.
So we started with Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley.
I enjoyed this match.
Yeah, yeah,
I I mean, I don't have in front of me the official like length or whatever. I expected it to go a touch longer,
Mm,
and I was a little surprised that it was going to kick off the show, but I guess after seeing the way everything else played out, I'm glad it did.
yeah.
And yeah, I think the right person went over. I thought they had a pretty good match.
Yes, I'll have to concur with you on that. It was a great intro match,
Hmm.
and that first match is so important because that's essentially what sets the stage for the momentum, right?
Yeah, and I like that they've kind of adopted over the last few years AEW too, where the opening match in terms of importance on the card is like usually number two or three.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
just arbitrarily like, okay, let's just get something in front of the people to, like let's put uh Karrion Cross and the Street Profits to start off the show.
Mm,
Nothing like that.
mm,
We will get to that match.
hmm.
And yeah, I like that they start with a banger, get energy
Yeah,
high, and then the show will sort of go up and down in terms of getting the audience up and down for it.
yeah, definitely. If you think about these PLEs or these pay-per-views,
Mhm.
if the way the company books it, it should almost follow the same pattern as a full-length album
I agree.
and
I agree
sequencing, right?
for sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, because I think for a time it was sort of customary where the matches, or rather the progression of the matches, would just get more and more important and
yeah,
therefore better as it went along.
yeah,
And you can understand that way of thinking, but you want to give the audience something that they can sink their teeth into right away instead of
yeah,
waiting until match 4 or 5 to
yeah,
really get you hype.
yeah. It should definitely be it should definitely be that roller coaster ride.
Agreed.
All right. This next one, I'll be honest, I had no clue about this match, and you mentioned it before we went live about some of the matches you weren't even familiar with. I had no clue about this match at all. I was like, "What's going on?" I have no clue. The six-way tag title match.
Yeah, I only knew about it. And okay, in full disclosure, I am not a like I keep up with Raw and SmackDown. Usually, like, I'll if I don't watch the full show, I mean, I'll catch the spoilers or what happened. But so this was a match that I mean, I knew about it, but um I just didn't really have any real investment
No,
in
zero.
in the match, in the in almost everybody involved in the match.
Yeah.
So, talking about predictions, this was clearly one of the ones I had no idea which way they were
Yeah.
going to go.
No.
I mean, some of the players involved, I mean, like a big fan of, like, as wrestlers, but you know, like, I love Johnny Gargano and I love Tommaso Ciampa
Tampa.
and DIY, but I they've been having good matches, but I haven't really had much reason to care about them, to be honest.
They haven't
Leading
given
up
you
to
any
it,
reason to.
right? Yeah, and I don't know. It's funny because the WWE is supposed to all be about it's all stories, and that's what separates it from the Indies and New Japan
Yeah.
and AEW and all the other promotions, and I kind of found myself not really giving a shit about anyone involved in the match. I mean, the New Day are always going to be over for me,
Yeah. Yeah.
but when Waller and Theory won the first set of belts, I was like, oh, okay. cool. You know, like it didn't.
Anticlimactic.
I didn't feel. You know,
No.
but I also think that what I did like about the match, or at least the concept of the match, is that I think this was basically just a device to split up the tag titles.
Yeah.
You know, for all that WWE has been doing good in terms of booking and changing the perception and everything. They still got some work to do in terms of the tag team division. So maybe
Yeah.
this is like the first step in doing it, because I kind of hated that those titles were held hostage for damn near a year.
Yeah. They were kind of pointless.
Yeah, well, I mean, they put them, they had the Usos as the
Yeah.
undisputed champs, and they did great work. And Sammy and KO are awesome, but again, you kind of just never felt like tag team wrestling has ever really been a priority per se.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe this is the avenue to get to it now, but um, it needed a reset. So if nothing else, I'm happy that they're split now.
Looking back on this match, after watching our boy Punishment Martinez do his thing, this was almost a hint of what was going to happen.
Oh yeah, I texted one of the homies right after the match, and I was just like, "Book it, bro's gonna cash in tomorrow."
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if he'll be successful on the cash in, but he's definitely gonna do it tomorrow, because it's like okay, well, you take the belts away from
Yeah.
them. Judgment Day don't need them. Um,
No.
but he has this briefcase that he's had for like 10 months,
Yeah.
so he
And it
was
was
he was
time.
bound to. It was time. It was time.
And I dig what they've been doing with Judgment Day, so I was definitely happy about. We'll get to that match when we get
Yep,
to it.
100%.
Props to Balor's Scarecrow mask. That was dope.
Oh snap! I think I might have missed that.
Oh man, it was
Shit.
dope.
I'll,
And
I'll go back and run it. I'll go back and run it back.
then Priest mask was also almost like Balor's demon mask, which was interesting.
Man, I kind of hate that we're probably never gonna see the demon version of Finn
Yeah,
Balor ever
yeah,
again.
I know.
And I don't know. It like I really really loved when he'd pull that out for pay per views
Yeah,
or PLEs,
yeah.
and they kind of just I guess the ship sort of sailed on it. Or who knows? Maybe it'll get another renaissance if he ever breaks from Judgment Day. But I also don't want him to break from the Judgment Day.
No, no, they're doing too good.
Oh they're probably the best faction in WWE.
Easily,
Like I'm
easily.
trying to think of who's even close.
Yeah,
No,
man.
no, it's them.
Yeah, he needs to stick around with that for a bit.
Right. Although I will say that, because I mean we talked about Austin Theory and Waller winning titles, the SmackDown titles, but Miz and R-Truth won the other ones, and yeah, like the two best spots in the match, in my opinion, were like the Miz on on the apron waiting for the hot tag, hitting like the John Cena
Yeah,
5 moves of doom and then trying to pin him.
yeah,
And but I mean, dude is I mean, he's got to be what 53, 54, and he might be more over than ever. And
yeah.
I don't expect him to have a very long title run, but
No,
I like that he got that moment at Mania.
yeah, because
Like
he earned
Ward
it.
a solid guy, yeah,
It's weird because like he spent a chunk of time in TNA, didn't he?
yeah. Um, I mean, I never personally saw him in TNA, but I know that he
Yeah,
spent some time there, and I mean, hell, I mean, he's been in WWE for like 17, 18 years. Like it's been a minute, and he's kind of the resident comedy character, but he does it better than anybody.
Mhm.
He's in my eyes, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah.
Whenever he
When it's
steps away.
oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, my question with Waller and Theory, A Town Down or whatever they're called. I know jack shit about these two and why they got these titles. Do you know anything about their story? Like, are they
Um,
supposed to be the next come up or?
well, I mean, I guess as far as a tag team goes, I mean, they're probably the top. I don't even know if I can call them like the top heel tag team. I mean, Waller's a pretty good heel in that he's a very, very easy guy to hate. Whenever they give wrestlers their own talk show, the
Yeah, there's a reason for that.
yeah, that's usually the telltale sign.
Yeah,
Um, and he's kind of just that classic. He has like a very punchable face.
yeah,
Yeah,
smarmy.
smarmy. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
especially those type of smarmy heels who will always get booed. I mean, I think that's sort of their thing.
yeah.
Um, I mean, I don't really know what sort of stories or whatever they've been doing
Is what I'm, yeah, like
apart from
no one talks about these two.
yeah. I mean, Waller had a pretty good run in NXT. Um,
Yeah,
and since he's come on the main roster and he's been there for about a year now. Um, I mean, he's fine. I mean, he's solid in the ring. He has his talk show. He's annoying. Um, so I mean, I guess we'll see over time whether they can sort of turn it up and make the act a little more interesting.
before we move on to the next one, I have a question. We made mention of Gargano and Champa.
Hmm.
It's always it's obviously not their time, but do you think they have like is there because they're like Triple H's boys, but like they're kind of not really doing much.
Well, I think that um, well, it's tough because I mean the WWE roster, top down,
It's pretty
um,
thick.
it's pretty stacked,
Yeah.
and not just in terms of talent, but I don't remember the last time there's been this many like organically over, like super
Yeah.
over people all at
Yeah.
once.
Yeah.
So
Tough to juggle that.
it's hard to stand out.
Yeah.
And I think part of the DIY magic, at least in NXT, was that they kind of just came in. They were just having like banger matches with
Yep. Yep.
FTR or the Revival at the
Yep.
time, and
Killing it.
some of the other guys, and then they had that awesome feud when Ciampa turned heel, and
Yeah.
for a while he was like the most hated man in
Yeah.
wrestling. Like bro was
Yeah.
coming out to the ring with no entrance music, like just like just getting
Yep.
these like "fuck you, Ciampa"
Yeah.
chants and shit. I think that they've kind of just been booked, at least as far as them as a duo. They've kind of just been booked as wrestlers, like very good wrestlers, but just wrestlers. I mean, I don't like there isn't like apart from their prowess in the ring. Like, what do we really know about them?
Exactly. If
So
you're in the WWE, you need so much more than wrestling.
yeah, like I appreciate the wrestling for what it
Oh yeah.
is, but just for that system, like
Yeah.
it's not enough to just be a good wrestler. You know,
No. Unfortunately, because there's some really good talent over there.
a ton of it.
It's just that,
Um,
yeah, without that extra something.
yeah, and they're just not. They haven't really been presented as larger than life, or there's
Yeah.
no distinct gimmick. I mean, they came out and did like a DX tribute,
Yeah.
and
I like that. There's like a
nobody.
tongue-in-cheek reference,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they came out like
Yeah, I like
bro had the cowboy hat like HBK,
that.
and Champa had like the Triple
Triple H
H
vest.
vest,
Yeah.
and that crowd did not react for it at all. I felt
No.
bad for them,
It
honestly.
was a dud.
That's yeah, I felt for those
Oh,
guys. You know,
man. See what I mean, though? Like, there's just, like, that should have got a crazy pop.
I mean, I don't know if they. I mean, there's been a lot to be said about just the crowd in general
Mhm.
for night one. So
Yeah,
apparently
true.
it was very cold out there. Um,
Yeah.
there was a lot of matches with little to no heat. I mean, this was a
Yeah.
ladder match, and this might
Yeah.
have been the quietest ladder match I've ever seen. Um,
Yeah.
and the match wasn't bad. It just, you could just tell that very that that the crowd just didn't really care about very many
No,
people in the match,
no,
which
no.
is unfortunate.
Yeah, it is because I mean, they're out there busting their asses, obviously, to
Yeah, and
entertain.
some of those bumps are crazy, and
Oh,
again, I'm a sucker for spots and hardcore stuff,
yeah,
but admittedly, it's like I just didn't care.
yeah, straight up, straight up. Speaking of not caring, I hate to say that their lucha segment was very underwhelming.
I wasn't a fan for
Oh,
um, for a few reasons.
oh,
I
you
mean,
may
it's
begin.
like look, like I like all of the players involved.
Yeah.
Like Andrade is one of like my
Mm.
favorite wrestlers in the world, and
Is boot fake to elbow?
oh,
Jeez.
that's one of the best moves in wrestling. You
Hell
know,
yeah.
um, I mean, it kind of sucks, and I don't know what the story as to as to why they pulled Dragon Lee out of the match, but
Yeah,
maybe it was hurt. I don't know,
maybe.
but whatever. But it just again the story of the match I just didn't really care that much for. Um,
Zero.
like I just feel like they've been doing like I don't know how much you watch SmackDown, but
Mm,
you notice they kind of take all like the Latino talent, and
yeah,
they've kind of just been feuding with each other like
yeah. The lynching
forever,
segment.
right? And so I mean they even had that match sponsored by
Right.
Agua Fresca or whatever.
Right.
So
I was like,
take that any way you want. Um,
oh,
and and I think they told a really good story at Mania last year
mm,
between Ray and Dom,
yeah,
and it kind of felt like they just added him
yeah, right.
2 weeks before the show just to sort of get some more heat because frankly it wasn't there. You know,
No, and they probably had to do that because they had shit for heat.
yeah, but again, much like the ladder match, I mean they busted their ass and
Yeah,
they did some cool spots. And this was an odd match to bring in Lane Johnson and Jason Kelsey
right.
as the 320-pound luchadors, but okay, I get it. It's Philly, I get it,
Yeah,
but I don't know it like this match and the ladder match. I mean, these felt like SmackDown matches to me.
yeah. Like I feel like if I was there, I would take these two matches to go to the washroom, get some more drinks.
Right,
You know what I mean? Just
Yeah, it just I don't know. It didn't. And look, I get it. The WrestleMania card between both nights has what 13 matches or however
Yeah,
many it is, and I get it. Not every one of them is going to have the spectacle of Rock
right.
and
And
Roman
Cody
and
and Cody,
Cody.
period. Like everyone was eclipsed by Cody for this Mania.
See, and this was kind of my issue with just the show as a whole. The build to the show. I mean, I felt like, to their credit, they did a great job building up the main event of both
Oh
nights
yeah.
with
Oh
Cody
yeah.
and Roman,
Yeah.
and and they did some great business, and I know they made a ton of money, but if I felt like they gave a lot of TV time to those guys, and
Oh yeah.
as they should have, and I felt like the gap in importance, or at least my anticipation between the main event and everything underneath it, with the exception of maybe Seth and Drew, was that gap was super super wide.
Yeah.
Like some of these matches kind of felt like they didn't belong on the card with
Hell yeah.
with whatever Cody was involved with, and it. I don't want to say that folks didn't step up, because like folks work hard. I'm obviously not a
Oh yeah.
wrestler. I can't
Yeah.
say that, but just the energy and the atmosphere just wasn't there for, especially on night one,
Yeah.
for most of the matches.
Yep. And it definitely stands true for this like Uso versus Uso. What the
I'm gonna go so
fast
far as to
forward?
say, pers- I'm gonna go so far as to say personally, this was like the most disappointing match. Like
Awful.
like between both nights. Um, I mean, they didn't get a ton of time. I think they went like 10 minutes. Um, I mean, they were just spamming super kicks for like 7 of
Yeah.
those 10 minutes.
It was a super
Um,
kick party.
it was a super kick party,
Hmm.
but it's a reason why like the Young Bucks figured out the formula. Um, but like the story leading into the match had a lot of meat on the bones, and I was actually really really hyped for it, and
Right?
it it just never got out of the second gear.
Flat.
It was flat. Um,
Totally.
the story, like the actual storytelling in the match, sort of fell flat. It didn't help that the crowd wasn't really giving them much either. Um, like I kept waiting for it to get to sort of just get into that next gear, and it just never did. And then it just ended, and I was like, oh, like
Yeah.
that match was like this was a random SmackDown match that
Thank
would
you.
happen at like 9:15, like not even the main event of the show. Like
Exactly.
I couldn't believe how mediocre that match was.
The livest part was the Lil Wayne intro, and it wasn't even that live.
Damn, I mean, bro didn't even do the full verse for a milli.
I know. It's like,
Bro stopped after like four
ah.
bars. That should have told us right away something was off. But
Yep.
and that broke my heart, man. Like I love the Usos. I mean,
Yep.
they'll get their flowers as a tag team, but individually, I mean, both of those guys are amazing. But it just didn't click.
No, man. That's I'm sorry, it was a dud.
It was. I'm trying to
I
I'm trying to think. Like I don't know. Maybe if I watch it back, maybe
I
if I
don't think
look at
so.
like if I watch it
I don't think so.
and
You can
take
try.
my if I take my anticipation out of it, maybe I'll enjoy it a little more. But you know that match, out of everything, and I'm not saying it was the literal worst match on the whole show, but it was definitely the one that disappointed me the most.
especially after the video package.
Right. That
You're
that
like,
that
whoa, okay, let's
package
go.
put it in the match. But it was also like, man, this was personal. I mean,
Yeah,
I won't go so far as to call it a blood feud, but there it was personal. These are
yeah,
brothers. There's a lot to play off of, and they had a wrestling match
yep.
like this. Like if you watch that match and didn't watch any of the TV leading up to it, you know,
Oh boy.
and you ignored the size of the crowd, and you would think this was just a random Friday SmackDown match.
Yep. And I think that's about all we can say about that.
Yep.
Next up was Damage Control versus, I'm calling them the Big Three.
I think that's what they're officially.
Are they? I
I
heard Team
think.
EST on the broadcast. I was like, ew, that's the worst name ever.
Well, since the match, I mean, I know all of them have been posting Big Three, and
Okay, good.
I mean,
Please,
we'll
please not
see.
Team
And
EST. That's horrible.
well, and since with all this Kendrick and J Cole shit, Big Three
Yeah,
is a trendy name, so
and it works.
it's actually pretty smart to use it if that
Yeah.
is in fact their name. Um, I'm going to be completely honest. I wasn't a huge fan of the match.
Okay.
Again, nothing offensive about it, but again, this to me it felt like a regular trios match you'd see on a random Raw or SmackDown.
Hmm.
Um, it's and I mean, and before the match started, I knew exactly how they were going to work it. I knew they were gonna, Jade was gonna be the hot tag and
Yep.
would sort of clean up.
Yep.
Um, I don't like that the women's tag titles did not get defended on Mania. That's
It
just
was
me.
weird. Yeah, it was weird.
I don't like that Asuka suffered probably her seventh WrestleMania L, but we
Yeah.
expected it.
Yeah.
Um,
It's true.
the you know the build to the match was kind of whatever. I mean, I saw this as nothing more than okay. This is an avenue
Showcase
to
Jade.
to showcase Jade.
That's it right there.
Yeah, and
She looked great though. Woo!
she does, and yeah, their entrance was awesome, and just
Oh, and she wore her hair natural. Yo, that was so sick.
yeah,
That was so sick.
I want to do that more. I mean, she looks great with like the long hair wigs, but
Hmm.
short hair Jade.
Oh fuck, she killed it.
If that's if I'm advising, I'm telling her, yo, keep that look.
New presentation. Yep.
That's the one.
Oh yeah.
Um, and it kind of felt a little wrong that we didn't get a singles match from Bianca this year because
Yeah.
like
Very odd.
She's kind of Mrs. WrestleMania.
Right.
Um, but I think she was taking one for the team.
Yeah. Yeah.
They I think they have big plans to really brand and do things with this faction.
Yeah.
Get three beautiful, strong black women together.
Mm-hmm.
There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of cool stuff that they can do.
Yep.
So yeah, so the match itself didn't. The actual match was very run of the mill, but I understood what they were trying to do.
Yeah. Totally. Totally. I mean, if we were to play the Melter scale, this wouldn't be anywhere be close to.
You know what? Since you brought that up, let's fuck around and do it. Um,
Woo! Okay.
so yeah, on the
Melter
5-star
scale.
scale, and we can go back and just quickly
Yeah.
rate everything,
Yeah.
and we can kind of do
Okay.
that moving forward.
Let's do it. Start with
All
Becky
right,
and Rhea.
3.5.
I agree.
Ladder match.
Sheesh. One.
Oh wow, that you really hated it, eh?
That was pretty bad.
I mean, I would have given it closer to a 2.5, maybe two and three
Wow.
quarters.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like there were some good spots. I just
Yeah, there were a couple of good spots, but I can watch good spots on AEW.
this is true. This is true.
You
This
know
is
what
true.
I'm saying? Like, so my expectation of this is going to be different. Like, I know where to watch spots. You know what I'm saying?
That's facts. That's facts.
So yeah,
And then
one
all right, and so the Latino tag match.
lucha segment. Ah, I'm gonna be pretty hard on this one, but I'll give it two just because Andrade was in it, and I was kind of happy to see Andrade at Mania
Yeah,
because
it's
AEW fucked up so bad.
I mean, I'll give the match 2.5,
Okay.
but man, it sucks because I felt like they were just starting to figure things out with Andrade, like right towards the end of his
I know.
AEW run, but it was too
What
little, too
happened? I
late.
don't.
They I mean, I think well, like they wanted to keep him, but I don't think he was happy, and
Oh, can you
well,
blame him? Like,
right. His booking was very inconsistent. I mean, he had great matches, but
yeah.
he
Like, oh.
never, they never really put him in that spot. And but also, I mean, as his wife works in WWE.
Oh yeah.
Um, I always expected him to go back at some point.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I
I didn't
just,
think so soon.
I just thought like yo, like they never put a title on this guy.
Right.
He was only like his last pay per view match with Miro at what was it, Full Gear or
Mm,
All Out or whatever, whichever one it was. That was only his second pay per view match in
right.
the 3 years he was in the company. Um, you know, so okay, but I don't want to get too sidetracked. But yeah, they definitely could have and should have done a lot more with him
Yeah.
when he was all elite. But I was very happy to see him in like on WrestleMania for sure.
The Usos.
Two. That's the best. That's the best I can do.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that one. You can't go higher than that.
I can't. I mean, it just feels so wrong to give the Usos anything under a 2, but
But
I cannot go higher than 2.
and I want to point out this isn't necessarily on them. This is just the way the show was laid out and the way their story was told.
I mean, they definitely
I'm not necessarily.
have to take some responsibility for it,
Yeah, there's no enthusiasm from either of them.
yeah, but I mean, whoever did the agenting or producing of the match itself didn't do them any favors.
No,
Or I don't know, maybe they just thought the crowd would pop more for all the super kicks. Um, it just didn't work.
no, no. All right, damage control and the big three.
This one was 2 3/4 for me.
2 3/4. Okay, I'm gonna give it a two
Maybe,
point.
maybe a 3.
Oh, a
Maybe a 3.
three. Okay,
Maybe a
okay.
3.
I'm going a 2.5, but the 0.5 is just for damage control's entrance because I love their
Love that.
Joshi-esque entrance. I was
Yeah.
really popping hard for that. So that got an extra 0.5 because I'm like that entrance alone.
No,
That
it's
I
legit,
popped.
man. I mean, it's WrestleMania. I mean, the entrances, like the full presentation, all that matters.
I'm hoping that damage control continues to do more of those types of entrances, even on like the regular programming.
Uh, I mean, I hope they do. I don't. I don't expect it,
No, it'd be nice.
it would be nice. But I mean, now that Bayley is not a part of it,
Yeah.
and EO, spoiler alert, lost the title. It'll be interesting to see how they sort of change or rebrand damage control now.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. Like I'd like to see them
Because
do some
it's
more
basically
vicious.
just a Joshi faction now,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Hopefully more vicious.
I hope so.
You know
And
what I mean? And
I
stiffer.
mean, but hey, get the titles, get the tag titles off of Kyrie and Asuka,
Mhm.
and then I mean I I want Asuka to be, I want her to be the killer that she's supposed to be.
She should
You
be,
know,
yeah.
like she looks the part,
Yep.
and
Oh God.
and they have her eating way too many pins.
Yeah, man. She's almost like the Joker up in there, man. And the Joker
Yeah,
is maniacal, crazy, and a murderer, and that's what she should be.
yeah, and but I mean they they did this whole thing where you know she's different, she's changed, and all they really did was they gave her OG Kana face paint
Yeah,
back, and then
yeah.
changed nothing about her as a character.
No, no.
It's like it's like guys, like I need you to go all the way with when you actually try to switch someone's gimmick.
Are you super familiar with her Kana gimmick?
A little bit. I
Does
mean,
she dance?
I didn't. I never watched her like while she was sort of cooking up in Japan.
Yeah.
Um, when she first debuted in NXT, and I mean, I had heard the name, and I kind of went back, and I've seen a handful of her matches, but I mean, I was a big fan of her kind of work.
I, I, I I'd like to see them stop dancing.
Yeah,
I know
it,
why they're doing it, and I get it, but I think they should stop.
yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know, something about the Joshis in general and dancing is just a, I don't know, maybe it's a stardom thing, but a lot of them do it, and
Yeah,
I don't,
definitely.
and I don't need all of them to, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. It is what it is.
It is.
All right. Past damage control and the big three. And moving on to a match that I had no expectations of. Sammy versus Gunther.
Gunther.
Yeah.
So this one got my first four of the weekend.
Okay.
Um, so how do I describe it? I mean, it was a great match. I mean, this was probably the most, I don't know, indie-rific match,
Mm.
at least so far. Um, and it was cool to see Sammy hit that brain buster
Yeah.
towards the end. That's
Yeah.
oh man, it's like
Woo.
these motherfuckers were on their PWG shit. Like okay,
Yeah, man.
I fuck with that.
Fuck
I
yeah.
mean, Gunther might be like my favorite wrestler in the company right now. Just everything that he does is so
Oh,
believable and painful and real, and he talks his shit, and I believe everything that he does.
yep. Love it.
I and Sammy, in my opinion, is the best guy in the company as like an underdog or as like someone fighting
Yeah.
from beneath.
Yeah.
Like he sells an ass beating better than damn near anybody.
Yeah.
And so I knew he was going to sell his ass off. I kind of, the reason I didn't go higher is I get it. The story of the match was, Gunther was like super egotistical and
Yeah.
but him kind of jaw jacking at Sammy's wife like every
I
2 minutes.
know.
It was like I've always considered him like he's not just a great wrestler, but he's a smart wrestler too. Like
Yeah,
he doesn't fall for stupid shit.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's why he's had the belt for damn near 2 years or however
yeah.
long it's been. So I didn't like that. That it felt for his character
Of course.
a little out of character.
Yeah,
But I understood the story that they're doing.
yeah,
And I'm happy Sammy won.
yeah,
Got his moment.
yeah.
And it frees up Gunther to chase world titles. So
And that
I'm good with
is why this had to happen.
it. It had to. Yep.
Exactly, because he's honestly moved on past the Intercontinental.
What was there left for him to do?
Yeah, man. This had to happen.
It had to.
Yeah.
So and you know him and Cody are eventually gonna have a great program. I'm really
That's
looking forward
exactly
to
what
it.
I was thinking.
I mean, he's gonna chop the shit out of Cody,
Oh
and
yeah.
bro's gonna sell his ass off for him.
Yep. Yep.
It'll be a lot of fun. Um, but yeah, 4 stars for me. I liked it.
Yeah. And it's funny because literally because I was obviously expecting Sammy to win.
Mhm.
That it when he actually won, I actually kind of felt a little more excited about Gunther because I was like, man, this totally opens him up to something new with you know who.
Oh, yeah, I was more happy for Gunther than I was for Sammy.
Yeah,
Like Sammy's dope, love him to death.
yeah.
Gunther's dope, love
El
him to death.
Generico.
Right. But it's like okay, um, now now he's ready for that step now.
Yeah, yeah. So that definitely was, yeah, I'll agree with you on that for sure, for sure. And that takes us to Cody and Seth versus Roman and Rock. It's like, where do we begin?
So, um,
Hmm.
so as far as a rating, I guess I'll give it a 4.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, the actual match bell to bell
man.
was what I expected.
Exactly.
It was serviceable.
Yeah,
But like basically this was a 3.5 match that turned
yeah,
into a 4 on the
yeah,
strength of the star power, and
yeah,
the crowd suddenly woke up.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
and yeah, and I gotta say, I mean, the Rock looked pretty good.
yeah.
Um, I know it's a tag match, and is hidden or kind of smoke and mirrors
Oh, there's
protected,
definitely
but
smoke and mirrors going on when they, get once they walked out of the ring. I
right,
knew I was like, they're gonna be out there for a minute. Got it. Good. Got it.
for sure. And but I mean, he looked credible. I mean, he
Yeah.
didn't, he wasn't like sucking air, wheezing,
Nope,
or anything like
nope.
that.
He actually looked great.
Yeah. Now here's my issue with the match. Um,
The part I was
and
waiting for.
and look, I don't want to sound like this WWE hater, and because look, I had fun with the match, I really did, but the the match they should have just booked this match as a tornado tag,
Right?
because like there was no rules to the match. I mean,
No.
Rock is literally screaming at the ref that I'm going to
Yeah.
fire you
Yeah.
if you count. Um,
Doing his best, Vince.
right, and honestly, it's just that shit sort of takes me out of the match.
Yeah.
Um, like I like when like heels are crafty in working around the ref, but
Yeah.
handcuffing them for
Yeah.
me takes a lot of the heat out of the
Yeah.
match.
Well, yeah. Because, like, well,
Yeah, and again, they worked hard. The the other problem with the match was that the outcome kind of, I don't want to say it gave away tonight's finish, but like I was pretty confident that Cody was going to finish the story tonight.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
after, not only did they lose, but he took the pin.
yeah,
Like, okay, there's absolutely no way he's taking back WrestleMania main event L's. Like
yeah.
it's not
No,
going to happen.
that's just not happening.
But that's not really the fault of the match.
No.
But again, the it kind of goes to show you just how much just star power can elevate a match.
Yep.
Because I mean, you take any other four wrestlers on the card, and and they work the match the exact same way. That shit's a three.
Yeah, definitely. The one thing this match did for me was basically solidify an opinion that I formed about Cody's in-ring work. I know he's never been like the dopest wrestler, but man, it
He
really showed tonight.
see okay, like just okay,
Even his own moves, man.
just to sidetrack just for a quick moment, and I want to ask you this: were you a fan of Cody's indie run, like when he first left WWE?
I was.
Because I mean, I from what I understand, I mean they were calling him what 3-star Cody or some shit like that.
Yeah, for me it was more the story than his actual in-ring.
Well, but I think that's the appeal of Cody. I mean, hell,
Yeah,
even his AEW run, the thing
yeah,
I always liked most about like Cody's programs is that like they told good stories,
yeah.
and the actual bell to bell in ring stuff was good. I mean he's not Will Ospreay,
No,
but he doesn't need to
far
be.
from. No. Well, see, with Cody, I first got into Cody because I didn't know Cody when he was in WWE. Like he was literally like a non-factor when he was WWE. I wasn't even watching anymore at that point. But when how I even got back into wrestling was Bullet Club.
Right.
So when Cody, who I knew left WWE because it was one of the, his story. He was like, I'm not being booked. I got to go improve myself. That appealed to me. I'm like, oh, cool. So it's like when an artist leaves the majors to go independent to prove to themselves that they could do it. That's why that appealed to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that was a major appeal to me. And then, fuck, when New Japan picked him up, okay, here we go. So like you've just reeled me the fuck right in already now. You know what I
He had
mean?
he had a great run. I mean, he
Oh
was.
God, Bullet Club Cody, come
I mean,
on.
he was Matt Cardona before Matt Cardona.
Yes,
As
yes,
far as guy leaves the feds,
yeah,
and to by his own account, I mean he was making way more money. As an indie
yep,
slash occasional New Japan guy than
yep,
he was in WWE.
yep,
Um, and yeah, I mean they figured out that whole American Nightmare character, and
yep.
um, it's interesting because now that he's basically face of the company,
Mhm.
um, because the thing that I really liked about his, well, obviously his Bold Club run, he was an awesome heel,
Thank
and
you.
I don't know if we're ever going to get that in WWE.
No,
I
I
think they're going
mean
to John Cena him.
the only way I think they would do that is if there was someone else ready to come up who,
Yep.
you know what I mean? They needed someone to go against. But man, he's too fuck. He's like the new Cena. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he is Cena.
Yeah.
Um, Now, hopefully they don't make some of the same mistakes as Cena, but as a face of the company, like like this is the guy that the
Mm.
company trusts to do Good Morning America. This is the
Yep.
he's definitely going to be Mr. Make a Wish Foundation guy
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Like he's the good looking rock star type guy. Um, he, he's a great talker and cuts great promos, and he's
White
good
meat
enough
baby face.
white meat and in 2024. I mean, I feel like excelling as a white meat baby face might be the hardest thing
It's
to do
tough.
as a character.
Yeah.
Because man, it's like
He couldn't do it in AEW.
he can't. He Oh no, I disagree. He,
Really? But the turn.
I
People
mean,
got that thing.
his run for the first couple of years. I mean, he was cutting the same type of promos. He was coming out in the same type of suits and so forth.
Cody
Um,
verse.
the yeah, the, the problem was they signed Malachi Black, um, and curiously they had him feud with Cody. Um, and I don't know if they thought that people would boo Malachi, but that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
The Codyverse stuff was kind of weird, and and the more the crowd started turning on him, the more that he was, I guess, resisting
Yeah.
doing the proper turn.
Yep.
I don't know. It was weird.
Very weird.
I never booed him during that time, and
No.
I never really understood, and I asked some fans and some homies like, why why are y'all booing Cody? Like,
Yeah.
what did he do?
Yeah.
And they're always just like, well, I didn't like that feud he had with Anthony Ogogo. It's like, okay, granted it was trash,
Yeah, that was trash.
and that super uh patriotic. I mean, they basically made that
The
feud
Homelander.
America. Yeah, they basically made him Homelander. Um, and I don't know, but I always liked him.
Yeah.
And when he left AEW, and folks were like, oh, they'll be just fine without him, and it's like, well, yeah, they'll manage, but
Mm,
I don't think y'all understand. Like this is a big loss.
fuck yeah.
If they if they let him do if they let him do Cody when he gets back to WWE, like like there's no doubt in my mind like this guy is going to be
Yeah.
either face of the company, or if not that, he's going to be right at the top of the card
Yep.
because he has everything that WWE is looking for.
Yeah. Well, his story alone, his tie to Dusty Rhodes, like it's WWE's marketing machines, like fucking
Mhm.
win-win. They've got so much to play with Cody.
Yeah, it was and it was telling because he when he went back, this wasn't the Triple H era yet. I mean,
Yep.
Vince was still there,
Yep.
and even Vince was like, no, like this shit that you created um is working, and it's exactly the type of shit that we're looking for. So we're not going to change anything.
Yep.
um yeah, they kept the logo, the kept the music. um like I was shocked that they were letting them do Cody Cutters in WWE
I
because
know.
they don't like more than one or two people you
Yep.
know doing someone else's move. But
Yeah. They
yeah,
let him. They let him be him.
they let him do him. I gotta give
Yep.
him credit for it.
Yep. And I mean, he probably wouldn't have gone for it if they didn't anyway.
I mean, he said that. I think he said in an interview that that was like a big deal or a big part of his return,
It
like
had to
in their
be.
negotiations. That
What's he gonna hop back inside that clown suit? Jeez.
right. Well, according to him, Vince had made no booking promises or whatever, but I
Mm,
think I think it was made clear that like if I'm coming back, I'm definitely not doing Stardust, and I'm not doing like that old Cody Rhodes shit.
Yeah,
Um, wrestling with like the black hair and
yeah,
you know like I created something, and like it wasn't just his wrestling prowess. I mean, like dude was featured heavily on like TBS. I mean, that was
oh yeah,
like they had him in reality shows, and
yep,
was it the Go Big show or whatever?
yeah, yeah.
Like he showed them everything, you know. Like I did all of this without you, so
Yeah,
I'm not going back to that bullshit.
yep,
You know.
it's true. It's true. And it made sense for them to say yes anyway.
Oh yeah, they had
They're
to.
making, yeah, they're making hand over fist with this guy.
Yeah, that's wild because they they had Steve Austin, they had The Rock, they had Cena. They've been trying to get Roman over for forever,
Yeah,
and they didn't figure it out until 3 years ago.
yep,
But he's part time, and
yeah,
um, and who knows how long he's. I mean, I think he'll still be around for a while, but
yeah. But I
but
think either
he,
part time would just get more part time. I think.
yeah. So you know, uh, eventually we're only going to see him twice or 3 times a year
Yeah,
instead of
he's
just
earned it though.
the. He has.
Yeah,
I'm not
he's earned
knocking
it.
him at all,
No,
but they're you know, I guess now Cody is 38. I want to
yeah,
say.
around there. Think so.
So yeah, but they have at least the next 5 to 6 years locked
Oh
up
yeah.
as far
Oh
as
yeah.
face of the company,
Yep.
full time. We can count on them to be at Raw every week. Um, yeah, like they got their new Cena.
Yeah. He apparently trademarked something called the Renaissance era.
Of course he did.
You
Um, I don't know.
think it brings back the wing belt?
That'd be fire if he did.
Remember,
Um,
he said he was going to do that or try to make it happen anyway.
it's not going to happen.
No,
Um,
doesn't fit branding.
only exactly. The I mean that belt that he just won. I mean they send that to the Super Bowl winners and
Yeah.
the NBA final winners,
Yep.
and they they care a lot about their branding.
Yep.
So they're not going to have their face of the company do it.
Nope.
Um, I mean, who knows? But then again, they also remember that dumbass. R.I.P. Bray Wyatt, but remember that
Yeah.
dumbass Fiend title that they made?
Yeah. Ooh.
Ugh.
Ooh.
Now, I'm not saying the Winged Eagle title is that, but I feel like it's going to be a very very long time before guys start having personalized titles again.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I feel you on that one.
but yeah, but that was night one.
That was
Um,
night one. And so, on a whole, what would you give night one on the Meltzer scale?
as a whole,
Yeah.
I am between 3 and 3 1/4.
Okay.
So it's
I would have to agree with
basically
you on that one.
about average.
Yep. I'd have to agree on that one. Hell, I guess it's okay for me. Like personally, I don't like go out of my way to watch a lot of PLE, like WWE PLEs. But there's just not much interesting to me going on, kind of thing. The Cody thing is just because, like I said, this is going back to Bullet Club and AEW, and you know what I mean. So this is the one thing I was truly invested in when it came to
Well,
WWE.
I mean, even though WWE is never going to officially acknowledge it, but at least for folks like us who are who are tapped into non WWE wrestling. You know, you know, Cody finishing the story for me that his time away from the company was just as important
Yeah,
as whatever he was doing beforehand.
yeah,
So yeah, like him being in Bullet Club and AEW and
yeah,
all of that's part of the story.
yep,
So so like I was rooting for him. I'm not
yeah.
one of those. Oh,
Hell yeah.
he left my favorite promotion, so now it's F him. It's like no, like
Which
I
is
I
so.
I want him to be at the top.
Mhm. Even the Bucks said it, yo. The Bucks said it. They were like, they're really happy for him because they knew he was so much bigger and
Mhm.
had so much. Like they knew his star potential was just starting to blossom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they. I mean, I'm sure they wish he was still there, but I
Oh,
think
I'm
they
sure they
knew.
do.
They
Yeah,
knew. They understood.
yeah,
They knew that he could reach a level that
yeah.
I love AEW, but it's never like ever going to supersede WWE in
No, no,
terms of scale. You
no.
know,
I mean, if it sticks around as long as WWE, maybe, but yeah,
but
I don't know
but
about
even
that one.
that, WWE has too long of a head start.
Yeah,
It's
way too
it's
long.
it's too big. They make too much money. It's too
Yeah,
big. It's too big to fail. I mean,
yeah,
AEW only existed or came to fruition because Vince McMahon WWE in 2018 was so insufferable
crap.
that
Yep.
he basically created a market just by the show
Yeah, he
being
did.
trash.
Yeah,
But
yep,
now that but
exactly.
now but honestly, the worst thing that ever happened to AEW was Vince being a trash human being and forcing himself to retire.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yep,
because like now that the show is watchable again, it's going to be a tough hurdle to for AEW to sort of get that momentum again. And again, for what I like in my wrestling, it's a much better show.
yeah,
But you know,
and it's
I,
improving.
it is.
Those are Dynamite's improving.
I've loved. I mean, there's never been a point where I hated the show. I mean, there's certain segments or programs I'm kind of
That
like,
are yeah,
this is kind of whatever. But I love the matches. Obviously, I like their philosophy in terms of how they tell stories,
yeah,
and I like that they don't do a lot of the cliches and so
yeah,
forth. So I love it, but I understand that you know like people didn't really want to stop watching WWE. I
no,
think they just kind of got tired of just how nonsense it was for a
yeah,
time. But once you gave them a sign that the show is actually going to be good again, like people are going to go back to the show they've been watching for 25, 30 years.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, let's move on to night two. We had a McMahon appearance.
so yeah. So my stream was really bugging out. So
Ooh.
I mean, I saw her coming out, and but I didn't really get to catch any of her promo because my
Mm.
stream was buffering and shit.
She
Um,
basically did Triple H's intro, her version.
yeah, I think from what I gather, she was just kind of like, well, who is not here, so it's a new era. Do I kind of have it right?
Yeah, basically.
Figured, figured.
It
But
was
yeah, but I
um
mean,
it
but
was cool, I guess.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, she's married to Paul Levesque. I mean, why wouldn't she be there?
It's interesting that they're going all in on Paul Levesque. Um, like they're not referring to him as Triple H as much
Yeah.
anymore.
Yep. And that makes total sense too.
It does, and and if nothing else, that I think that really signifies like, yeah, this is his show now for
Yep.
sure.
Exactly. So they open with Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins, who, coming out of night one, took a bit of a beating from the bloodline.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Yes. And they obviously made mention of it on commentary, which is always funny. I know they have to, but it's like, y'all think we weren't watching? Like, I know you're selling it, but yo, we watched.
I don't know. I don't know who tapped in to watch night two, who didn't watch night one, but I get it. They have to do it,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's whatever. But I mean, you could, the kinesio tape on his back kind of, told you the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so here's the thing. I guess as a complete segment, including the punishment Martinez cash in,
Mm-hmm.
as a whole, I mean, I'd probably give it a 4.
Yeah.
The match itself, I wasn't as high on,
No.
compared to other folks, and
No.
the
Mm.
the match, I mean, I don't know, maybe I expected to go a little longer, but you know, but one of my pet peeves, and maybe it seems hypocritical being you know, an AEW or New Japan fan or whatever, but at WrestleMania specifically, um, I feel like a lot of these matches have this bad habit of spamming finishers like
Mm.
early and often,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
like Drew hitting bro with like 7 Claymore kicks, like like 6 of which of them he kicked out of.
It's like, wouldn't you try
Um,
something else?
right. It's just like, look, I wouldn't have an issue with spamming finishers you know if on your regular TV shows it's not a move that puts away folks
Yeah.
99.9% of the time.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like, look, if you hit it 2 times, cool. 3, you're pushing it, but cool. Okay, but I draw the line at 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Um, and Seth hit him with like 2 pedigrees and
Yep.
like
Couple of curb
three
stomps.
three or 4 curb stomps, one of
Yep.
which was on the announce table.
Yep.
Um, so I don't know. I I like the story of the match. I just didn't like the actual way that it was worked.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I was kind of like, okay, it's cool. I mean, I'm happy Drew won. That was kind of
Yeah. Yeah. That actually
that was,
felt good.
that was the biggest takeaway.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, him sort of running off to the side and finding his wife
Yeah.
and sending a tweet mid match.
Yeah.
Did you see the tweet?
Yep.
Incredible,
Yeah.
incredible.
His social media game's been on 10
Oh,
lately.
he's been incredible,
Jeez.
but him trying to rub it in CM Punk's face.
Mm-hmm.
Um, who finally gets
Yeah.
his lick back, and then our boy Punishment runs out,
Yeah.
and cashes it in, and it's like, like this is really really smart booking, you know.
Yeah.
So you get Priest over after they just lost the tag titles. Punk finally gets one over Drew because let's be real, you know, Drew's Drew's kind of been cooking him
Oh yeah, Punk's
for
been taking
weeks,
L's.
bro. Like even the promo battles, like
Yes.
like Drew's been cooking him,
Oh yeah.
and I mean, for the sake of making their future feud interesting, it's like, all right, you like Punk has to get one over on him, and he did. So
Very nicely.
yeah, so I mean, like the match itself was like maybe a 3.5 for me,
Yeah, yeah,
uh, but but that cash in elevated it to a 4.
definitely, definitely. I That is the loudest I'd gotten between all the matches so far, and I didn't expect to get louder until at least the main event, to be honest.
Right.
But Priest
Well,
coming out, I swear I got up and I think I just wowed
right.
out.
Yeah, and I also like that they didn't do that dumbass thing where guy runs out to cash in his briefcase, and Mike Chioda is like, I guess can't comprehend English anymore.
Yeah,
Are you sure? Are you
yeah.
sure?
Oh, so
Okay,
annoying.
are you sure? Like,
Yeah.
motherfucker, if you don't hand that damn briefcase to the announcer, no, like they got to it right away. So
Yep. Yep. So definitely a worthwhile segment, and second worthwhile segment overall.
I agree.
Which brings us to the promotion of Gin and Juice by Dre and Snoop.
Oh boy.
Are you gonna try this beverage? I'm just curious.
I didn't even know it existed
Is the LCBO carrying it yet?
until I saw this match. I mean, I don't drink, so I mean, I don't know if I'm somewhere and the opportunity to sip one
I
presents
guess
itself.
maybe.
Sure, I feel like I have to.
Yeah.
But what did you think of the match? And for those listening, this was Bobby Lashley and Street
Yeah.
Profits with BFAB
Yeah.
versus Karrion Cross and
Final Testament.
yeah.
And this is a Philly street fight in Philly. So the ECW, Easter
Oh
eggs
yeah,
were. I was like, I'm just waiting for them.
yeah, and Bubba Ray Dudley was the special guest referee.
Yeah, the man, he took a bit of a beating by showing up on this one. The IWC was not kind to him when he showed up here.
I mean, I'm not even going to touch that.
Nah,
Um,
nah.
I try not to involve myself with IWC,
Yep,
discourse, because
yep,
I mean, how we talked about it on one of our past podcasts, but that shit is insufferable.
yeah. Basically,
And I know he's not a popular guy, and I'm not really a huge fan of his busted open hot takes, but
yeah. It's like whatever.
another old head with a pod. So
Yeah,
it is
basically,
what it is.
basically. As for this match on the Meltzer scale,
What you got it?
I have to be honest. I couldn't find a reason to want to keep watching.
This one did not do anything whatsoever for me. Um,
What was the point of this?
I mean, I'm glad that the guy. I mean, I guess it was a mechanism to make sure Bobby Lashley is on the show, because
Yeah,
it feels wrong that him and Street Profits wouldn't have something to do at
yeah,
WrestleMania.
yeah.
But look, I mean, I like I like Killer Cross, or at least I did once upon a time.
I
But
used to like AOP.
they're one of my favorites back in NXT once upon a
Used to
time.
be anyway.
But they've told they told the audience, and part of that's on Vince, but They told the audience for a very long time that he's not important. He doesn't matter. I mean, AOP. I mean, they kind of just came back relatively recently, but
Yeah, but
they haven't exactly
back to
done
what?
anything to make you
Yeah.
care.
No.
Like, look, I love the Street Profits. I love Bobby, but their whole feud could not have been any more uninspired.
No.
It had no heat going into the
No.
match.
Zero.
The match itself, there was little to no structure or flow.
Yeah.
I mean, it basically was just a mechanism to, I guess, get a couple fan service spots, like,
Yep. Definitely.
the what's up,
Yeah.
you know.
Was that what's Bianca's husband's name again?
Montez Ford.
His Devon testify dance. Okay.
He also did was it a like a plancha
Yep.
over the turnbuckle, which was
Yep.
pretty fire. But
Yep. Yep.
apart from that spot, I mean, I can't go any higher than. I mean, I definitely can't go higher than 2, but I.
That's generous.
I mean,
Oh, man.
I'm leaning towards one and maybe like
Yeah.
3/4, but
Yeah. Yeah. Uh,
so yeah, I'll be nice and say 2
okay.
because like
Okay.
the match itself didn't offend me. It just the whole time I was watching it, I was just like, why is this match happening?
I don't know.
Why should I care? Why should I think that Final Testament has any chance of winning this match?
Well, Gin and Juice got a whole lot of, attention during the segment. Maybe that was the purpose of this segment.
I think it was. I mean,
The branding was for
they
the
they
entire
they,
match. Hey,
they sold their sponsorships,
there you
and
go.
maybe the cost to get that gin and juice sponsorship for some of the bigger matches. I guess maybe Snoop and Dre weren't trying to spend that type of money, but it's like, it is what it is.
It definitely is what it is. That takes us
But
to LA
more
Knight
so,
and AJ.
more
Oh,
so
sorry, what's up?
oh, I was just gonna say, but more so than anything, on the entire show, both nights included, um, like it was a match. Like, forget the actual quality of the match, but just in
Okay.
terms of interest, this was definitely one of a couple matches that, frankly, didn't belong on the show.
Thank you.
I,
Agree completely.
like, no offense to the wrestlers, it just
No, it's not their
I didn't
fault.
I didn't care, and frankly,
No,
until the match happened, I didn't even know it was going to be on the card.
neither did I. No clue. I mean, honestly, they all just showed up to work. It's not their fault.
Not at all, and they had to go out there and work to a ginormous crowd who
Hmm.
didn't give a shit.
No
Uh,
investment.
no investment. Like, I wasn't eager to see Cross get pinned or for one team to get there. Like, I didn't care. I
No,
really didn't.
no,
And
didn't matter at all.
once we stop talk and once we're off of this podcast, I'll never think about this match ever again.
Right? Facts,
Once
bare
we get
facts.
once we get to the next match, like, I can go back to not thinking about this match ever again.
No,
So
yep, most definitely, most
it is what it
definitely.
is.
So, LA Knight, AJ Styles.
Okay. Um okay, look, I didn't hate the match. Um I mean, AJ Styles is one of the greatest of all time in the
Yeah,
ring. And now, like, look, I know I know LA Styles. I said LA
LA
Styles.
Styles. Oh yeah.
That'd actually be a great tag team name
Yeah.
if they ever let. But I know LA Knight is super over, and everyone loves his catchphrases.
Yeah.
So not knocking him. I'm just not really a fan of his work. And
Well, yeah.
I'm not. I mean, and I know he's a very, like he's a. I again, I'm not expecting Kyle O'Reilly work great, you know, but nothing he does in the ring really does anything for me. Um, so the match itself was fine. You know, I'm glad that he went over because I think this was his first Mania, and AJ doesn't need the win. Like
Mm,
he's bulletproof as far as I'm concerned.
yeah.
Um, yes, I mean it was like a serviceable 3 for me.
Yeah. I definitely have to agree. Definitely have to agree. AJ got a new theme. Okay.
Oh boy, I'm glad you brought that up. Um,
Hey.
because again, I was writing a couple notes in my phone, like knowing that we're gonna have a conversation about it,
Yeah.
and more so than anything, hearing his new music pissed me off way more than the match or whatever. I mean, he look, I've been critical of it. Um, whoever does their music now, I think Def Rebel is their name. I hate
Is that literally the name?
Def Rebel. Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay.
Um, I legitimately hate 95% of their themes.
Yeah, they're crap.
Um, like Seth has a good one.
Yeah.
Trick Williams has a good one.
Mm,
And there's probably 2 or 3 others that I just can't think of right now. Um, every other good theme in WWE was grandfathered in by whoever did them before, or is a licensed tune.
yeah.
But AJ was one of the few people left on the roster who had a theme that stood out, that
Yep.
I like genuinely fucked with.
Yeah.
Um, and they gave him that generic ass shit.
Yeah. Like I get it, a new theme, I guess, for the new persona, but jeez. That didn't help at all.
It sucks. Like again, they all
Jeez.
sound the same.
Yeah.
Like you remember one of the issues with the Royal Rumble this past January is that the counter would go down, it would hit the 0, you'd hear the buzz, and then someone's music would start to play, and
Yeah.
there'd be like 5 seconds before they came out,
Yeah.
and if you weren't watching the video board, you'd have no idea who 95% of the people are. For
Because the
real.
movie's just like, what the?
Like they use the same instruments, they have the
Yeah.
same structure.
Yeah.
It's like they made like 3 beats and then they remixed them
Yeah.
20 times each.
Yeah.
You know, so
Shmeh.
we
I
lost
can do
another
without
one.
it. Yep, I can do without it. Definitely.
Yep. Mhm.
Before we move on from AJ and LA Knight, we know LA Knight. He's over. He's probably going to, they're going to probably keep progressing his quote unquote story. But where does AJ go from here?
AJ is, I think, he's one of he's a utility guy for them now.
Yeah,
So he's a vet. I mean, he has credibility since he's been a world champion. So they can slide him into feud with anybody, and you're going to get a quality match out of them. Um, AJ will make him look like $1 million. I don't know what I don't know where they go next. I mean, maybe. Look, I'm trying to think of who's on the roster on SmackDown. Mind you, since Mania is over, I know there's going to be a draft soon,
Yeah.
so maybe maybe they put him on Raw to freshen him up. But I don't see another world title run out of him. Um,
No. And I think he was interviewed basically indicating he knows he's almost done.
well, I think he said, well, yeah, because he signed an extension. I want to say 2 years ago,
Okay.
whenever it was, but he had basically been indicating that this is going to be his last contract, and then after that, I don't know if he flat out retires or kind of
Probably
just
work.
turns into a part time. Show up a few times a year to collect a check,
Yeah.
you know, but I mean, he's done it all as far
Yeah, he's
as
earned it. He's
as
earned
far as just
retirement, man.
right, and not even
Yeah.
just WWE, but just in general. I mean,
Exactly. Just
dude's been a
period.
yeah, dude's been a workhorse for 20 years. So,
Well
if
earned
he
reputation.
yeah. So I don't know. I don't know, maybe he becomes a producer after
I can
after a
see that.
while.
I can see that.
Or something where he's giving back, or I
Yeah.
don't know,
I can
maybe
see that.
maybe he becomes a coach in NXT. I don't know.
I
But
think I think he's I think he's officially like he was already a WWE guy, but I think like going forward, I can't see him being anything more than a WWE guy after this.
oh, he's got a job there for life.
Yeah, exactly.
And like I know that he has a lot of homies in AEW, and I know Tony will do right by him
Mhm.
if he ever had
If
any
he ever
interest,
wanted to.
if he
Yeah.
ever wanted to. But I don't, I don't think that.
No.
I don't think he wants to be that guy who's wrestling in his late 50s, like trying to hold on. You know,
Yeah.
like he sounds like a guy who's made
Knows when to
peace.
go out. Yeah.
I think he's made peace with everything that he's done.
Yeah.
He's made a lot of money. If he stays in WWE behind the scenes, he'll still make a lot of money and not have
Yeah.
to not have to take bumps. Um,
Exactly.
so so yeah. So I think these last few years, this might be the last few years that we get AJ Styles as we know him,
And that's okay. That's
and it
definitely
is
okay. He's given us a lot.
a ton.
Yep. So we had the triple threat US title with the YouTuber, the Canadian, and the Viper.
Right?
I I don't ah I don't know, man. I could have done without this one.
Really, really. I'm
Yeah,
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. That match, up until that point, was probably my favorite thing on WrestleMania.
really, the triple threat.
Yeah, and look, maybe this was a case of having, I don't want to say low expectations, because look, KO is one of my favorites of all time.
Yep,
Randy is always good for
yep.
is always good for a big match. And look, for say whatever you want about Logan Paul, but
He knows what he's
it's
doing.
it's it's actually insane how like legitimately good of a wrestler he is, and
Hell
it's
yeah.
not just like grading him on a curve of like, oh
Oh,
well, oh he's pretty good for a non-wrestler, like, no, like dude. I mean, he's more athletic than half the people on the roster.
it's like he was
Uh,
born to do this.
like he can sell.
Yep.
Like it. Like this match wasn't like crazy smoke and mirrors. I mean,
No.
he's out there like working,
Yeah.
working.
Yep.
and I have to give him credit for that.
Oh, of
And
course.
again, this is a match that I had very little emotional investment in going in, and I had way more fun with the match than I had any right to. You know,
True.
I was shocked how much I enjoyed it. I really was.
It was, I guess with zero expectations, yeah, I can see why you feel that way because I'll have to agree with that as well. Especially you know, the little like spots between Owens and Orton. You know what I mean? That little
Right.
story they had going. I was like, okay, I'm being entertained by this, and I'm not mad at it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But it's just like I don't know. I guess zero investment in all three of them on my
I
part.
I mean, I didn't care for the story going into
No,
the match.
like
Um,
zero.
and I don't know. I think maybe it's just the chaos of a three way. But I don't know. Like this match kind of woke me up, so to speak. Like, all
That's
right,
fair.
like motherfuckers are finally like doing shit to get my attention, even though
Yeah,
I didn't really care for the build.
yeah.
Um, and again, like Kevin Owens is beyond reproach in my eyes. Like that man can do no wrong. Um,
Especially his moonsault. Ooh, wee.
it's pretty. Um,
God damn, it's
he,
pretty.
I mean, I can't recall ever seeing a bad Kevin Owens match.
No.
So again, I wasn't expecting it to be you know trash, but I was expecting another serviceable three, and yeah, and I think this is probably the first match that we have a difference of opinion on. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, this one was a solid four for me.
Oh, you gave it a full four. Okay.
I I
Damn.
I I think I even tweeted like, "Yo, like I can't believe I'm
Okay.
saying this, but
Okay.
I'm really fucking with this match, and I don't know how they did it." Although the prime energy drink or whatever the fuck it
Oh
is,
God.
the product placement was a little crazy, and I
Little
knew
extra.
I knew it was going to be, but
Yeah, you knew it.
and I don't know, maybe it's different in America, but like I've never seen a single person drink one
No,
like in my life up here.
no, no.
But I mean, I see them in every convenience store
Yeah.
I walk into, and I'm just like, man, like why is this shit so popular?
Mm.
And it was brought to my attention. I guess it's big with the kids and
That must be it.
the YouTube crowd. They
Yeah.
all love that shit.
Well, it makes sense, right? Based on who
So
we're
it's like
talking
okay,
about.
it's like oh okay. So I'm an old head. Got it.
Well, I'm gonna have to counter your four, man. I'm gonna have to say 2.5.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And the point five is because I think that the entrances were interesting, considering that Orton almost flew off the golf cart because Owens was driving like a crazy man, and I really popped over that for
I
some
I,
reason.
I got a nice little check. I got a chuckle out of that. I'll,
I really enjoyed that for some reason. And then Logan Paul's entrance. I mean, it was what it was, but I gave it up. He had a good entrance.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I don't even remember his entrance. I
It was a Logan Paul entrance, put it that way.
I
Exactly what you're
was
supposed to be.
so like in between like the breaks between match, like I was playing like PS1 on like an emulator,
Okay.
um, and like looking up when the match started. So um, I tried to make sure I caught all the entrances, but yeah, that was definitely. I looked up kind of halfway through the golf cart part, so I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Now
that's
I don't think that entrance is going to adjust my four rating. You know
that's
what? Maybe no, maybe I'll go three and three quarters. I
okay.
can't I can't in good faith say it was as good as the Gunther Sammy match.
All right, that's fair.
But
I
yeah, but
think
I did enjoy it though.
there you go. One of the better told stories coming into Mania, obviously Bayley and Io. Um, I think they did a great job with telling this story. I was invested into this match because they were able to, and I'm not like the biggest avid WWE watcher, but this damage, okay, it's probably because there's Joshi wrestlers in it, I'll be honest. But it caught my attention. And when I saw Bayley was involved, I'm like, okay, well, I know she can go and she can tell a story. So maybe there's something interesting behind this. And yeah, once I got invested into the story, I'm like, okay, I'm with this. And I'm impressed with Dakota Kai. I've never really paid attention to her as a wrestler or
Oh,
performer or entertainer.
she's dope.
Yeah, I'm
I
a new
I,
fan.
I gotta I gotta go back and watch some of her old. I mean, I think she had some Stardom matches, and
I definitely want to go back and
she
watch
might have
now.
been in Shimmer for a while too. But I
I
gotta go back
definitely
and,
want to see that.
research. But she's great. I mean, I
She's
loved
a
her in
star.
NXT. I loved her in NXT. Like just great facials, great work. And she's kind of one of those characters. I didn't think she had it in her as far as being a convincing heel, but no, she's nice. She's nice with it.
I even have to go back and check out her NXT stuff because I'll be honest, I didn't pay attention to her until this Damage Control story.
Yeah, it's I'm gonna go so far as to say this is my favorite match on the entire show.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And in terms of, I was invested in the story going into the match.
yeah,
I was anticipating it because I know both of these ladies can cook.
yeah.
Um, I mean, it was for the title. And throughout the whole Rock, Cody, Roman build, I think people forget Bayley won the ladies Rumble,
Yep, yep,
and I mean this was supposed to be a main event, but until it wasn't.
yep, yep.
But no, they cooked.
Hell yeah.
They told a great story.
Yes, sir.
There's some cool moves and things that I hadn't seen before, at least not very often. They gave them a decent amount of time. Crazy that between both shows or both nights, there's only 3 women's matches on it,
I know, hey. Well,
and
you know how they balanced it out. They stuck more talent in each
SmackDown.
match.
Well, yeah, yeah. So yeah, they got a lot of people on the show by virtue of
Yeah,
that 3-on-3. Um, but yeah, but I mean, I guess as far as singles matches, there was just two. It was just
yeah.
the two title
That,
matches.
that's a little surprising. That was surprising.
Um, I don't know. I know that they're trying to do this thing now where the go home SmackDown show is kind of like they're almost trying to build it as an extension of Mania.
Mhm.
So they do the stupid Andre the Giant Battle Royal,
Yeah,
and it's not the same.
yeah,
Because I don't know, it's there's a lot of people who should have been on the show that weren't.
yeah,
I mean, I'm glad to see that they let Shayna Baszler work Bloodsport for
yeah,
GCW.
yeah.
That's
That was
fire,
dope. That was dope.
but I wish she was actually on the show.
Where was
Um,
Tiffany Stratton?
where the hell was Tiffany Stratton? I mean, I thought that the story they were telling on the show was, I thought they were going to do Bianca Belair and Tiffany Stratton, and Bianca would kind of do the honors and put her over,
Yeah,
you know. because I mean she's been white hot,
Yeah,
and she was nowhere to be found. Which again, I didn't watch the SmackDown. I'm sure she probably
I
had a
didn't watch
4 minute.
it
I'm sure she had a 6 minute match with somebody, but look, I know that she's new, and I know that she's only been in the well, at least on the main roster for like 3 months. I get it, but she's hot enough now that
Yeah,
they could have found something for her to do, in my
yeah,
opinion.
really.
But it's women's wrestling still has you
A
know
while to go still.
a long yeah like there's a long way to go.
Yeah,
Not just in WWE, not just AEW.
everywhere.
You know, so they there's a lot of talent, and you know, did we need the Karrion Cross match? Like, I don't want to be that guy
No.
to be like, you know, like take this match away and put this one on, but
Yes.
but
Oh my god.
there's at least 2 to 3 matches. I'll say 2 matches that didn't need to be on Mania,
Yeah.
and you could have gotten some of these ladies on. Like why wasn't Nia Jax on the show? She's been doing great work since she came
Yeah,
back.
I was pretty surprised because she's been killing it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that they're gonna after the Rumble, they're hey, maybe this is an ideal first opponent for Jade.
Yeah.
But again, they kept her in a tag to protect her. I get it. Although could have, I think they could have done a good match, but I get it. Maybe they don't trust her, but yeah, just a bit of a glaring omission.
What do you give Bailey and Io?
I give it, and again, a lot of the ratings are kind of prisoner of the moment,
Yeah.
and maybe I watch it back and I feel stronger, or maybe I feel less strong about it. But I'm inclined to say 4.5.
Okay.
Four and a quarter to 4.5. I'll say
Okay.
four and a
Yeah.
quarter because I really
Okay.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'll go to the half because it really paid off. First of
Mhm.
all, it really paid off, and WWE is supposed to put storytelling. So give me some fucking storytelling, and they paid it off.
And they finally gave Bayley her moment. You
Thank
know,
you. Yes.
like,
She.
do you remember? I want to say it was WrestleMania 37, whichever one it was, where like they didn't even have her on the show. They
Oh
just were
yeah. Was she
they
like
had her.
hosting or something?
They had her hosting it, and it's
Oh man,
like wait a minute,
dirty.
she's not injured, and you have nothing for her to do.
They did her dirty.
Nothing. Like get the fuck out of here.
Oh, they did her dirty.
And she's been so good for so long.
Yeah.
To never get that sort of premier solo match. You
Yeah.
know.
The only one of the horsewomen that didn't finally get her shine, so she deserved it.
Yeah, because Sasha got her. She had her
Yep.
classic with Bianca. I mean, Charlotte. I mean,
Charlotte, and
Charlotte,
and same with Becky.
and Becky. I mean, she's had her share of them.
Yep.
Um,
It's Bailey's time.
I mean, I think she had a. It's wild. They had all four of them in the company at the same time, and
Yeah.
they never did the 4-way. I mean, I know that it was a Vince thing, but
Yeah.
I feel like Triple H. At least I hope that he'll have like a little more urgency for some of these possible matches. Like, we had we had Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose all in the company, all at the same time,
Mhm.
and at various times, all three of them were were white hot, or at least pretty hot, and you got an easy story to tell. let him do that 3-way at Mania one time,
Yeah,
and they never did it.
drop the
And
ball.
and Mox is gone, and I don't want to speak for him, but
I think
he's
he's gone for good.
he's everyone says everyone eventually comes back, and I'm not going to rule it out, but
Yeah,
I I don't think I don't think he's coming back anytime soon.
no,
I'm sure he'll
in
go back
shape,
for
in
like,
performance shape, anyway.
well, I think he'll go back for like the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't. I think
He's got no reason.
he's genuinely happy.
Yeah.
Like let's call it a spade. He's basically AEW's ace.
Oh yeah,
Um, and I think he likes being able to work AEW, uh, you know, 2 or 3 times a month, and fuck around and work New Japan, and then work Bloodsport, or I mean, unless you know, they do a true forbidden door between WWE and
yeah. If that ever
AEW.
happened, yeah.
I and who knows? Never say never. But
You really
barring that,
can.
I
You really
don't
can.
I don't see a scenario where his contract expires and he's like, yeah, I want to go back to the E. I don't
Can't
see
see
it.
that. Can't see that. Can't see that. Well,
At
let
least not while he's still in his prime.
yeah, no. Well, as long as he's in his prime and red hot, he's gonna live out his story.
Mhm.
Easy peasy.
Well, I think the way he looks at it is like, well, I've done Mania, you know,
Exactly.
like I've been champion, I've
Yep.
made X amount of money,
Hmm.
and his account, he hated most of his time doing it, and
Yep.
he's in a position now where he can make his own schedule. He can work all of his dream matches. He can do all the fun shit in Japan, and
Exactly.
I'm actually hyped. And maybe this week I'll go back and check out that CMLL show. Um,
Mm.
yeah, I think he's having the time of his life,
Yep.
just working all these territories that he otherwise never would.
Exactly. Exactly.
But you never know though. Priorities can change. That's why you can never rule it out.
No, and that's the thing is now you can honestly say that about any talent for any company at this point. You can never say never for anybody at this point.
When Punk went back to WWE, that that shit just went out of the window. It's like,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
literally anything's possible now
Literally.
because if you would have asked me to bet money, I would have said no. That's the one place he'll never go back. But
Yep.
times change.
But it also makes it fun because that the whole speculation game of like, oh, we got these free agents coming up. Oh shit, where are they going? Like, it makes it fun.
It does, and
Yeah.
I know people get super weird about it. Like, like, I can't believe this guy doesn't want to. I can't believe Will Ospreay chose to go to the minor leagues where he's getting paid significantly more money, and gets to work a third of the dates. Like, guys, come on now. But it is fun to speculate and opine
Yeah,
about.
yeah, because anything can happen
Anything
anywhere.
can happen. Facts.
Which takes us to the main event, the big one. This is the 2-year story Cody's been on.
I mean, well, since he came back, it's been 3.
Okay, since we came
Um,
back 3, yeah.
but as far as so yeah, really, it's been like a 3-year long story.
Yeah. And it's been, I mean, I was vexed when he didn't win last year, but it made sense. And I got over it very quickly because I started to think, well, like, no, actually, you're just playing him up to be even more of that white meat baby face. I get it.
Well, I think that now you can always sort of go back and apply hindsight and say that, well, now that you see where we're at now, it was the right call to not put the title on him then. Personally, I still think they should have made the call
Oh, I still think so too.
last year, and nothing that's happened this year, you know, change that. I mean,
Yeah,
what did Roman really do with the title
nothing.
in the last year?
Yeah, no. It was it was like their story. It was their story device. Just
Yeah, I mean,
we're gonna make
it,
him work. We're gonna make him work for this. Like hazing that
well,
mother.
because I mean, they're like, well, he wasn't ready for it, so he has to sort of overcome it and climb back up the mountain. And it's like,
Yeah,
well,
he
did
could have
did,
done
did
that
he
last
really?
year.
Did he really? I mean, he won the Rumble.
Yeah, man.
Cool. He could have done that last year,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah. So you know, and the irony is that had they have done that last year, like I feel like they should have, they could have done Roman and Rock
and
this
Rock,
year,
easy, exactly,
like what they really wanted.
exactly.
They would have still gotten everything they wanted.
Yep,
So, but that's hindsight. They got to where they're at now.
yep.
So as expected, we knew it was going to be bloodline rules, which is just, I don't know why they didn't just call it no DQ, but okay,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Um, so they basically told you last night that this match is going to be tomfoolery and just
Yeah.
overbooked nonsense, and that's exactly what it was. So to their credit, there was no bait and switch. There was
Nope.
no. I mean, no one going into the match can say they're surprised that
Nope.
the bloodline rolled in, because they basically told you that was going to happen. Um, so the match itself was good. I enjoyed it. Again, I don't want to be that guy as far as spamming finishers, but at this point, this has kind of been the formula for every main event Roman Reigns match. So
Yeah.
it followed suit.
Yep.
Um, so look, I'm personally not a huge fan of the eight different people running in. Um,
It's pretty crazy.
like at one point, both guys are outside of the ring, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess they're giving us thrice in a lifetime,
Yep.
with Rock and Cena 3. Okay,
Yep.
cool. Um, I was a little confused as far as, well, why, why is why did Seth Rollins, well, like, they let everyone else run in and get some offense on someone, and they kind of hoed him
That's
out.
on just got clocked.
They made him look like a punk, and
Oh man.
like, damn, like, you couldn't let him hit at least one stomp on somebody.
I know,
And it's
and he
like,
like came out in shield gear, yeah.
yeah, and it's kind of like, well, look, okay, I get it. The story is these are the ghosts of Roman's past,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but I don't know. The idea that Seth wrestled a match, lost it, was hobbling his way to the back, but specifically for the purpose of helping Cody, he had to put on his old Shield gear.
Yeah. Because
And so it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I get it. The fans, like, the Shield music started playing, and I'm thinking, like, wait a
what?
minute, did is there some miracle where Mox is going to come out with
Right?
Seth,
That
and
was my
then
first thought.
Seth comes out immediately gets clocked. And like, wow, yeah, that looked weird to me.
Yeah,
But hey, the right guy won. Um,
basically.
you know, I dug that they did the whole locker room comes out to celebrate with them, since kind of like Sting when he won at
Yeah,
Starcade. Like
yeah,
they finally got the belt off of the Tyrant. So yeah,
yeah,
treated as such.
yeah.
Um,
The people that came out didn't make sense to me though. A couple of them did, but some of them didn't. Like
how so?
I would expect to see Sean Spears out there. Honestly, Randy Orton for sure, and Sean Spears. Everyone else, and maybe Jay Uso. The rest of them are like, well, why y'all leaving out like
Oh,
no connection?
you mean the folks to celebrate?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like, like I expect Sean Spears to come out
Oh no no
like
no! The
instead of,
Chairman.
instead of the Undertaker. Like, man,
That would have been fucked up.
hell, talking about DIY getting no pop.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
oof. But
No, just a celebration. Like the things that made sense were Brandy, Randy, Jay. But everyone else was
well,
like, what?
well, they
At least
base
Sean Spears could have come out.
well they basically just looked at the roster and said, okay, all
Yeah,
baby faces step to the left. All
yeah,
right,
yeah,
y'all are gonna go out once Cody wins this.
yeah.
So
Hmm.
which is cool. I actually kind of expected to see more people in the ring. Um,
Right? I was also surprised there weren't more people.
yeah, because I mean, usually like when those celebrations happen, it's like like they have like all of the baby faces, like
Yeah,
including the girls. I get them all
yeah,
out.
exactly.
But whatever. That's a minor nitpick.
Yeah. I'm
Um,
surprised DDP didn't come out.
yeah, there wasn't really. I mean, it was really like six or seven baby faces, and then like
Yep,
his actual family in
yep,
there with him, like his
yep,
mom and the stepdad and a bunch of people in Nightmare Family hoodies who I don't
yep.
know, but I'm
Negative one
assuming
was
that
there though.
who?
Negative one.
Oh yeah. Oh,
He was there.
perfect. It would have been cool if he had his
If
negative
he
one
wore his
mask,
mask,
but
yeah. I thought it was cool that he was there because I mean,
oh, he's a big part of he's a big part of his story too.
yeah, yeah,
And he was front row last year.
yep.
So yeah, I'm yeah happy to see them there.
I
I
think
mean,
on Twitter, I think on
overall, it was. I enjoyed it.
yeah,
I mean, if I'm rating it, probably.
that's what I'm curious about. I'm curious what your Meltzer scale is on it. On no wait, not just on the match, but on the story
Well,
altogether.
again, if I'm rating it solely on the match, I mean, it's like purely like bell to bell. I mean, it's probably a 3.5.
Yeah, yeah,
But again, I mean, this is a whole story. It's a whole build. It's star power. It's a
yep,
culmination of the last
yep,
3 years.
yep.
So as an experience, it's well, probably four and a quarter, maybe 4.5.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd have to agree.
yeah, no, I'll say 4.25. Only, and I would give it 4.5 or possibly even higher. But again, I knew it was going to be super overbooked and a
Yeah,
ton of run-ins
yeah,
and personally, I kind of hate like world title matches that have those type of stipulations. Uh,
yeah,
I think the magic of you know Jimmy Uso or Solo interfering was that they were you know trying to work around the ref and make sure he didn't
yeah,
see it and so
yeah,
forth.
yeah.
So so the whole time I'm watching it, like, well, this is bloodline rules. why aren't Jimmy and Soul out there to begin with?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't get that. I was like,
Like,
well,
why
why?
did they wait until Roman was almost
Yeah,
defeated to let the
right.
bro,
Why didn't they come out right away?
if I would if it's known that I have that advantage, yo, I'm 3-on-1 this nigga from the
Hell yeah.
start, you know.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So and so that's one of those logic gaps that
Yes.
I have to sort of ignore, and I hate having to do that for this type of match. But you know, with that aside, I mean, it would have been a 4.5. But yeah, I think 4.25 sounds about right.
Yes. I like the term logic gap because that very much breaks that down very, very succulently.
And,
Yeah, the
and
running.
it's not just that match. I hate that in general. Like
Yeah,
if you know
that
you're
that's
having
me. Yeah.
a street fight or a no DQ or a hardcore match or something where you're allowed to do it, and
Hmm.
you're a villain who has a faction,
Yeah, be a
like
villain, man.
why are why are you trying to be honorable
Yeah.
for 2/3 of the match?
Yeah.
Um, you know, especially when they've told you for the last 3 years that literally every single Roman main event is, Solo's going to pop up from the crowd in a hoodie. It's almost a running joke. You know it's going
Yep.
to happen.
Yep.
So you know, um, I would have liked to have seen Cody maybe in a backstage segment, kind of going around trying to like recruit people.
Yeah.
Um, So, like, are we to believe that Cody hit these guys up, or that they just came out on their own? Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we'll never know.
Logic gap.
Yeah, that was my issue.
Yeah, I was like, excuse me, did no one not notice? Okay, forget it. I guess no
Right.
one.
That's like Cody. Like you lost to this guy at Mania last year, and you know exactly
Yep.
how it happened, and you lost last night, giving them like the legal right to do what they're going to do. So
Yep.
you had no backup, or you just kind of told them to stay in the back and wait. Um, Whatever.
Mm-hmm. Did you notice the callback to WrestleMania? What number is it? The one when Rock and Hogan in Toronto. Did you
Hmm,
see the callback?
I think I missed that.
It was slight, but I felt it was a callback because they both did the looking at the crowd from both sides thing.
Hmm. Oh, that was a great moment. I mean, the apart from the actual victory, I mean, that might have been the thing the crowd was the most hot about. Like, oh
Yeah,
shit, like Rock and Cena in the same ring again for the first
yeah,
time, and
yeah,
like their match was like 11 years ago,
yeah.
and again, for all intents and purposes, this is arguably the two biggest stars of all time, facing off again. So, and I know Cena got a lot of shit from people for a long, long time, but and again, it's kind of become evident that you know. I mean, I think he'll always be a presence of WWE, and he'll pop
Oh
up
yeah,
here and there. But
he's a
you know,
WWE guy for sure.
yeah, but I think we took him for granted, because of all the Super Cena shitty booking. Um, but I'm always genuinely happy whenever he pops up nowadays.
Yeah, he makes it interesting anyway.
For sure, for sure.
Okay, so I've got to ask: night one, night two, overall on the Meltzer scale.
So, like I said, night one was like 3.25, 3 to 3.25. I haven't decided. Um, Night 2. I'll give. I'll give that 3 3/4.
Okay.
Maybe 4. Somewhere in there.
Okay. Okay.
How about you?
Well, I'd have to give night 1 a 2.
Hmm. See, I was trying
Uh,
to be nice. I was trying to be nice about night 1.
yeah, I could tell you were being very nice, but I guess because again, I don't usually go out of my way to watch like WWE pay-per-views, but I
Mhm.
went out of my way to watch this one again only because of the Cody story. So I was expecting to be entertained a lot more, I guess.
Yeah, I think that. And it's like, look, I'm not shy about what I look for in my wrestling,
Yeah.
and I know Disco Inferno somewhere is saying that, oh, this indie shit is trash and there's no psychology and blah blah blah. Whatever.
Shut up.
I I I like my high octane wrestling, and I'm not going to
Yep.
apologize for it.
Yep.
And like AEW pay per views, World's End notwithstanding, um, you know,
They
I
deliver.
usually they deliver, and I usually walk away from all of them like, yo,
Yes.
that was a 4.5 star show. You know,
Yep. You walk
where
away
there's
feeling entertained.
yeah, you
Damn
walk
straight.
away feeling like, yo, there was at least 4 matches that like blew my socks away, and a
Yep.
bunch of others that were pretty good, and usually
Yep.
only one dud or one A match.
Yep.
Um, so again, by the standards of what I look for and what I'm used to, and again, like WWE themselves have had some fire PLEs. Like
Hmm.
I enjoyed the Rumble a lot, and there's other shows that have hit it out of the park. Um, there's a heightened expectation for WrestleMania because it's
Yeah.
the show.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way: um, I'll take All In over this Mania.
Hell yeah. Easy. Easy.
Now, All In and AEW in general is never ever going to match just the spectacle
No.
that WWE can do. I mean,
No, they
they
just know what they're
really
doing too well.
they really make their shows just feel like like this is like the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Super
Like
Bowl. Best way to put it. The
it's
regular
crazy
Super
like
Bowl.
that.
Yeah.
But WWE is a promotion where the actual wrestling is kind of secondary,
Oh yeah.
and that's not
Oh
a bad thing. But
no. That's fine.
I like my graps,
Hmm.
So yeah, but I mean, for me, it's that Bayley match was the best thing. Followed by Gunther and Sammy, and obviously the main event for
Yeah.
reasons we just discussed. But
Yeah.
yeah, those are probably my top 3.
It was interesting seeing some of the IWC chatter because Jacob Fatu was trending actually on Twitter because apparently he signed with WWE.
Yeah, word on the street is he's. I mean, he was backstage, and yeah, I think Fightful reported that he'd signed. I haven't read the report, but I think it was them who broke it. Um, so I don't know. I think a lot of people sort of convince themselves that, oh, okay, well, it's Bloodline rules, so you know Jacob
He must
Fatu is
show.
going Jacob
Yeah.
Fatu is gonna show up and cause interference, and even though Tamatanga is not actually Samoan, well, he's Samoan adjacent, so
Yeah.
he's gonna show up, and it's like, yo, like you know, like WWE fans have no idea who either of those guys are.
No.
Like they have to be. I mean, like we know, but
They
you
have to
know,
be straight up
but
introduced.
Yeah, but that audience by and large would have no idea if he
No.
runs in. People are going to be more
Huh?
confused.
Who's
You
that?
know, exactly.
Oh, Bad Bunny?
Right, right. So maybe the move is, you know, Roman is disgusted at his loss and wants to rebuild the family, and he
Yeah.
recruits them, kind of like they did Solo. Like
Yeah.
he didn't just show up. Like they
Yeah.
told you who he was.
Yeah.
I mean, you also saw him on NXT, but they told you who he was, how he fit into the puzzle.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
It should be interesting because I mean Jacob Fatu can go.
he's incredible. I mean, and
He can go.
the because I think the word around the campfire is that I don't know if he has a criminal record or something in his past that
Mm.
I guess the old regime just didn't want to look past. Um,
Ah, okay.
and now that what's his face is gone and not coming
Yeah.
back,
Yeah.
and and I think Triple H is a little more. I don't know, forgiving is the right word, but I think he saw like, yo, like this guy is incredible
Yeah.
objectively.
And
He's
he can fit
he's
right
legit.
into the storyline.
He's legitimately part of like the family,
Yep.
and even though I think the bloodline as a concept is super stale, hey, they bring in him.
They could, yeah, they could rejuvenate it if they bring him
Yeah,
in.
they could. Yeah, like he's an easy way to extend it and give it some extra life if that's what they want to do.
Yeah, I'm glad you bring up Tamatonga because for the life of me, I don't know where you would fit in a guy like Tamatonga
Well,
because
folks are talking about, oh, just put him in the bloodline. Like, well,
nah, but it kind of doesn't make sense.
but it's like he's Tongan.
Yeah, it doesn't make
But it's
sense.
like, but I mean, apparently from what I understand, his family, because his dad is Haku.
Yeah, they've got their
Apparently
own
they
legacy.
yeah, but apparently like they're like legitimately like really good family friends, and
Oh, I'm sure they are.
they like kind of consider themselves family. Um,
Okay.
where they can like, okay, you're not blood related, but we've known your family for 50 years, so y'all are basically fam. It's like, okay, well, if that's what you want to do, but again,
Do you want to see
I
that?
no, absolutely not. I mean,
Yeah.
if they want to acknowledge that they're family friends, and I got your back, but I'm gonna do my thing over here. Cool, but again, the bloodline as a concept, it's like I feel like we got all the best stories out of it. I kind of want to see these guys do something new, or at least figure out a clever way to just not do the same thing they've been doing for 3 years of just, well, I'm the head of the table. I
Yeah.
I run everything. Y'all are underneath me. Y'all will have some conflicts here and there, but ultimately, like, you're my lapdogs. I want to see them. I want to see them do something different.
You know what I like to see?
What's that?
If you recall, Solo seemed like he was kind of getting frustrated with Roman for not getting the job done.
Yeah, I could see them because they've teased that a couple times. Like it didn't go anywhere,
No.
but
But now'd be a good time to pull that trigger.
now that Roman doesn't have the title, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure they could like look at Roman like, oh, wait a minute, you're not the champion anymore.
Yeah. And
So
Solo would be the one to do it too.
like, get the fuck out of here with this
Yep.
island of relevancy shit.
Yep. Yep.
You lost your relevancy to
Yep.
Cody, so I don't know. Maybe that's maybe that's the avenue to either feud or maybe it splits them apart. Again,
Or maybe,
there's some stories they can tell, but
well, see,
just
here's the thing.
anything other than what they've been doing for the last 3 years.
Yeah, they need to definitely move away, repivot, like refresh it in some form of fashion, but they can't keep going with this anymore. It's just not tenable.
Well, I think that, and we'll see what the future holds, but I almost think that they're primed for or what I think they could do, and I guess it's contingent on how long The Rock wants to stick around for. So I don't know if he's going to go back to Hollywood only to
Well,
return
apparently,
to
apparently,
SummerSlam to run it with Cody or maybe Roman. I don't know, but I think they could do a cool thing where you know The Rock basically just takes over
right,
the the family.
right.
Like, yeah, Roman, you lost. Go sit over here. I got this,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and and it could turn into an internal thing where yeah, maybe they bring in Jacob and maybe Tamatanga and you know force everyone to choose a side and
Right.
hey, maybe this is the avenue to to turn Roman babyface because let's face it,
That's that's what I was thinking.
that's really what WWE has always wanted. You know,
Yeah.
the like this character has been perfect and got Cody over and they set records, but in the end, they want him to be a babyface.
Yeah.
So maybe this is maybe this is the time or this is the story to get him to turn.
I think like I feel like where you're going with that, I'm really feeling that because honestly, him as a heel is, I mean, it's time to refresh, man. And maybe take some time off. Maybe he wants to take some time off.
I mean, I think it was going to take some time off anyway.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but yeah, I mean, if I had the pen, um, maybe I have him show up on SmackDown, just to, I guess, address the L
Yeah,
and I don't know, maybe his character arc is that he's lost himself and he needs to disappear to rethink things. Give people a chance to miss him, and then he can come back for the SummerSlam build
right.
or Saudi or they're doing a pay per view and they're doing a bunch of pay per views overseas, which is
I
fucking
know.
awesome, which is
I
dope.
know.
Yeah, they're doing Backlash in France.
They're
Um,
really, whew,
I love that.
yeah,
Like
great idea.
get away from the states. I mean,
Yes,
you
please.
get you get these crazy like that show they did in Puerto Rico. Was like one of the best pay per views that they've done in years
Hmm.
because the energy was so different, and it's like, oh, you've got these like you've got a huge international crowd,
Hell yeah.
like don't just go there for some house shows, like do some big shows out there,
Damn straight.
you know.
Damn straight. Their fans are global, man. You can't sleep on that. Show them some love.
Well, especially when you got folks in like the UK, for instance, who
Yep.
it's literally like 6 o'clock in the morning where they're at now.
And
Who regularly, if they want to catch the show live, you know, they got to watch it at like midnight or 1 o'clock in the
yep.
morning. Let alone
And
if you
they
live
do.
in India or something, and they do. So it's like, yo,
Yep.
reward them with a big show. They've been
Exactly.
in the trenches,
Exactly. Feeling that. Feeling that.
and I don't know. It's kind of I like. I mean, I can't do it on a weekly basis. I tried. I failed miserably, but I like when Wrestle Kingdom comes around and it's like a whole thing of okay, I'm gonna watch this show. It's gonna start at 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning
Yeah.
on my end. Yeah, for so just for this weekend, I'm gonna get up at 4 o'clock
Yeah. I'm gonna make
to
the
watch the show.
sacrifice.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
make the sacrifice,
Yeah.
and I don't know. There's like a romance to watching wrestling at like strange hours of the day.
Weird hours. Yeah.
Yeah,
Facts.
there is. It's fun. It's fun.
So they traditionally, the Raw after Mania traditionally is part of this reset, right? So some new storylines are obviously going to start popping on Raw. Traditionally, has that made you want to watch the post Mania Raw? Or you just kind of wait and see what happens via social media or whatever.
Well, I'll be watching it this year.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, Raw after Mania had the reputation of new stories, new feuds, and usually new signings or new call ups from NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you always had the really crazy crowd that's like super like extra hot than like a regular Raw, since it's
Yeah.
usually like a very international crowd. And like the Vince McMahon WWE kind of went away from that for the last few years, but you know, um, I think they've done a good job as far as building WrestleMania weekend into just that, a weekend. So it's
Oh
not
yeah.
just Saturday and Sunday, but Friday is a buzzworthy
Yeah.
show, even though I didn't watch it this year. But but the Raw after is still kind of part of the experience too. So
Yeah.
especially after a very, if nothing else, newsworthy WrestleMania. Um, might as well capitalize on the buzz and give people some surprises.
Exactly. I don't know that there's just personally, I don't know if there's many surprises that would make me wig out too tough. I don't think, unless miraculously Julia surpasses NXT and goes straight to main roster. But other than that, I don't know that there's much that can surprise me.
Um, well, again, you know I'm not expecting I'm not expecting Julia or Tetsuya Naito to mysteriously show up. Um, I mean, we'll see. It's incumbent on them to make something fun and worth watching, and I guess we'll see. Um, Side note, Dynamite should be pretty interesting this week.
Yes,
Ooh.
that is an understatement. You know what? I don't have much to say about it yet because I think post Dynamite is definitely when there'll be a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Woo!
Like some people, I've had some conversations with some people about it, and
Yeah,
honestly, it's really hard to discuss or have an opinion on until we actually see what they do.
yeah, yeah,
Because again, I have no idea what they're gonna do. I don't know
yeah.
if this is just trying to bury Punk. I don't know if they make a storyline reason to justify putting it on your TV show.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if this is a mechanism to get Jack Perry back into the fold, which I suspect it is. Um,
That's my assumption because
I I mean I think that, because again, well, now the underlying story is that the Bucks and FTR are going to run it back again, at Dynasty.
I think that's what's going to
Um,
happen for sure.
well, the like that match is set.
Oh, was
Um,
it?
yeah, I mean,
Okay,
I
well,
caught it.
there you go.
Yeah, they had their semifinal on Collision with Top Flight. I haven't watched the show yet, but
Yeah, I haven't watched either. That's why I like.
so I think it's kind of one of those things where they're going to somehow figure out a way to tie it into Jack Perry or
Yeah,
possibly the FTR match, So they'll figure out a storyline reason to justify airing it, but the real reason they're going to air it is to kind of show people, yo, this motherfucker went on Ariel
Yeah,
Helwani and capped his ass off. Like this
yeah,
is what actually happened,
yeah.
and it's I kind of I guess I'm not gonna. I mean, it's Tony's company. He can do whatever he wants, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it only
Yeah, I don't know
because
if it serves them any real purpose.
well, it's a ratings thing.
Yeah,
I
but
think
that's not helping
they'll
any
get
storylines. Current.
well again. I don't know how they're gonna justify it,
Yeah.
but so again, let's assume that they figure out a storyline justification for doing it, which I trust they will.
Yes, I certainly hope so.
But ultimately, I don't want them to remind me that one of my favorite wrestlers is not there and doesn't have, I guess, a positive outlook on the company. Um, I know it's easy for me to just say, "Oh, move on, focus on your own show. Don't worry about him. He's not coming back." You know, you can't. You know, you're not getting Punk back to work a match to make money out of it. So
No,
what's
that's
the
why.
point?
Yeah,
So it's like I wouldn't book it. Now that being said, I'm going to tune in, and
yeah.
I'm looking forward to whatever it is too. But if I had if I was Tony or if I was advising Tony, I'd be like, I mean, if he wants to post it or discuss it in a forum that's not the actual TV show,
That
I,
would make sense.
that makes sense.
A lot
But
more than putting on TV, but
yeah, I just don't think that. Again, I think it's a short term rating thing. They'll get a few extra tens of thousands out of curiosity. Um, but ultimately, and I don't know if Tony realizes this, but um, people have already made up their minds. Like
yeah.
people who ride with Punk are going to ride with him,
Yeah.
even if that footage shows him like aiming a gun at someone.
Yeah.
You know, people who don't like him are still going to not like him. So
Basically.
what are we really gaining? But
That's what I don't understand. But like I said, until we see it, I guess we'll know once we see it.
yeah, and from what's been reported, this isn't like a bait and switch
Yeah. Apparently,
or the
this is
Young
real
Bucks
deal.
just trolling. Apparently, like
Yeah.
no, they're legitimately going to show that footage. So if Punk's version of what he said in that interview was true, there
He'll
would be
trend.
there. Well, if what he said in that interview is true, there'd be no reason to show it.
Yeah.
So so they I don't know. It's either going to make Punk look really bad, or it's going to make the company look bad for firing him over something that may or may not be a big deal. I don't know.
Yeah.
But again,
We'll
it doesn't
find
make
out.
it doesn't make sense to discuss until we see it because
Yeah.
it could be anything.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. I've got to ask you this because I know I was kind of questioning this. It's WWE and New Japan adjacent and AEW adjacent actually. So Jade was able to get onto main roster off top, but Julie has to go to NXT. What?
It's
This better not be because of English.
oh that's definitely part of it for sure.
Well, but they've got damage control with subtitles. So why would language be?
I don't know. The I think the logic is because I mean she's not the first person who is more than qualified to just start on the main roster who they put in NXT. Like I mean Asuka was there Although, I mean, granted it was a different era,
Yeah,
but I think their whole logic is, well, okay, you're great in Ice Ribbon and you're great in Stardom, but we need to teach you how to be a TV wrestler.
yeah. I
So
know. I know it's a different
so
ball
you know,
game. So I get
yeah.
that.
So it's not just working your regular 17-minute long matches. We have to teach you to occasionally work a 3 or 4 minute match, and you have to find the hard cam, and
Yeah.
we have to think of a dumb catchphrase that you can say
Oh,
in all your promos,
oh,
and
don't get me started.
and it's learning their playbook. So with Jade, um, I mean, I'm glad they didn't put her in NXT, but at least the difference with her is that she has like American TV wrestling experience and a lot of it.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
and
He does have that.
and
But in ring,
look, I look, and I told you before, I'm not a huge fan of the Shawn Michael NXT product. I mean, I think she can have a banger with Blair Davenport and the former B Priestley from
yeah,
Stardom.
yeah,
Um, there's a few girls there that she can really cook with.
yeah.
But I don't know. I just think that she could be. It sucks because look, I'm happy for her if this is what she wants to do.
And we know that we've
She's
known this is what you wanted to do.
Yeah, she's definitely going to make a
Yeah,
lot more money. She's going to be a bigger star if they play their cards right, and I don't have to go on all the benefits. But I fear that we're never going to get that. Like Julia had a match a few months ago with Megan Bain
hmm
on one of them Stardom pay-per-views, one of her last ones,
yeah.
which is like one of my matches of the year. They
Hey,
went crazy for like 20
yeah,
minutes, and it's like I don't think we're gonna get any of those anymore. And
probably not.
she's a stiff worker. I mean, the shit that she does looks like it hurts. Um,
But we
so
that's what we need to see, man. They can't dumb down her stiffness.
well, I mean, they've done it with everybody else. You
I
know,
know, but if
um,
you really want to sell her and make her different from everyone else, let her keep the stiffness.
yeah, but I mean, I'm sure the way they're looking at it is like, well, well, we can do for her what they did with Io Shirai,
I
who
guess.
admittedly is one of their better, I
Yeah,
guess, Joshi success stories.
yes,
I mean,
definitely.
I'm
Great job.
still, I still don't like what they did with what's her name? I forget her name, but historically they've had a bad record, or not a not so great record
No,
with Japanese wrestlers. But
no.
maybe they're, but with Triple H, he's a smart guy. He's got his ear to the ground.
Yeah.
He knows how
He's
good
got
she
William Regal
is.
anyway.
That too. So between Triple H and Regal, I'm sure she'll be fine. She just just the Stardom version of her is. I don't think we're going to see a lot of that.
She'll live on. Her stardom will live on YouTube.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. I look. I knew the rumors were pretty heavy that she's going to WWE. I'm wondering if AEW tried to get her, or if the whole Rossi situation basically guaranteed she's going and nowhere but WWE.
Well, I mean, yeah, apparently um,
Some chicanery.
TK and Rossi just were not on the same page,
Yeah.
and she's pretty loyal to him, from what I understand. not just her, but a lot of the Stardom girls are. I mean, a lot of them are leaving to join his promotion, and they see him like a
Yeah.
father figure.
Hmm.
Um, so I think it's a thing where, I mean, I'm sure she wouldn't have had any issue working with AEW, but it's like, oh, if Rossi says no, then fuck those guys. But that's cool. I mean, there's uh, there's no shortage of dope Joshi talent,
True.
and it'll be cool to see them at like Forbidden Door
Yeah. Oh man.
and Ring of Honor, which
Yep.
very quietly has been amazing for women's wrestling, if nothing else.
I know
Um,
it's a shame that no one watches.
I mean, to be honest, look, the Ring of Honor pay-per-views are always really good. The
Yeah.
week to week TV is
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
it's inconsistent.
Yeah.
There's good wrestling, but um, a lot of inconsistent storytelling, and you know the builds of all of their pay-per-views is always really shitty. Like nothing gets built up, and then 2 weeks before the show, or a week
Suddenly,
and a half,
oh,
or a week and a half before the show, 9 matches get announced, and like, oh shit, Athena is fighting Sheeta. Let's go. Oh shit, Mark Briscoe versus
right?
Eddie. Let's go. Oh shit, you got the Stardom girls doing a trios match. Let's go. You know, so
Yeah. Very, very
uh,
poor job of selling those stories.
well, I think just the challenge is that it's basically taken the form of what AEW Dark used to be.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and they do it before the Dynamite shows,
Yeah.
and I wish it was sort of its own promotion like NXT is, or because like hell, every most of the AEW shows I've been to, you know, like the crowd doesn't like doesn't care for ROH
No.
or even Dark for that matter. Like
No.
like the matches themselves are good, but like I remember I saw when I went to see Collision in Toronto. Um, they did the 2 hours. I think it was headlined by it was like Ricky Starks, CM Punk. Um, I want to say maybe Darby Allen. There's three of them against like the Bullet Club Gold.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, they had a great match. Crowd was super hot for it. Match ends, and like, all right, stick around for ROH, and
Yeah.
you can guess like 60-65% of the
Yeah.
venue just left right away, and it's like
Yeah.
it sucks, but it's like, well, like the people are here for Dynamite, they're here for Collision, um, and
Yeah.
and unless you subscribe to Honor Club, um,
Honor Club.
it's like you aren't really given a reason why you should care apart from
No.
Athena.
Yeah, that's straight up facts. They really don't give you any reason to care. Like this whole Briscoe winning because it was 11 years to the day of whatever. Like,
The match is great and the moment was beautiful, but
but
it's like, I
no one
mean,
knows about it.
well, not even just that, but like they also have this bad habit of putting Ring of Honor titles on people on AEW who don't wrestle in Ring of Honor.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
love Eddie Kingston, but he's barely ever on the show.
yeah,
They put the tag titles on Adam Cole and MJF at one point, who literally never worked a single Ring of Honor match, like in Ring of Honor. So it's
Yeah,
like,
made no sense.
yo, you have to, you have to, like, if you're going to do that, like, you need to feature those people on the show too.
Yeah,
And it's
which
tough
it
because
makes
it's like,
sense.
you don't want to put Jay White and the Guns on at 7:15 p.m. before the real show starts,
Right?
you know. But then it's
Yeah.
like, well, why do they have the belts? So
Mm.
so yeah, they got to do some course correction there.
Go figure. Go figure. Well, it'll be interesting to see, what happens on Wednesday. Um,
It'll be some newsworthy things one way or the other.
I just hope it doesn't take away from the rest of the show.
Yeah, I mean, I think the show as a whole will be fine. You know, I'm making a point to avoid being on Twitter because I'm not going to be there for the discourse one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully, after it leaves the news cycle, we can kind of just get back to the graps.
Yeah, yeah. I'm with that. I'm with that. Well, I guess we have Raw to look forward to tomorrow to see what's happening, and then
I mean, I
uh,
might. I mean, I might skip Raw, and I don't know. Maybe I'll just check the Fightful updates.
oh,
And
I'm definitely just checking for the updates. I've had enough WWE for this weekend.
yeah, and God, and a 3 hour weekly shows. That's
Yeah,
hard.
I'm good.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
we we do have the Fight at the Museum preview coming up with Corba. Corba's coming back on.
Hmm, let's go.
And, and we're going to talk about Fighting Museum. They only have a couple of matches announced, but the big one is, of course, the Indie God against the Walking Weapon.
Let's go. That's gonna be a
Yeah,
banger.
that should be interesting. So we have that to look forward to.
You you
And
you going to that event?
it's already sold up.
Of course it is. Of course it
Yeah,
is.
these shows sell up pretty quick. I mean,
That's
maybe if
that's a big main event. So
yeah, yeah, it's huge. Maybe if Corba is able to hook up with a some, maybe, possibly. We'll
it's like,
see.
oh, bro, we got you on the podcast. Hook me up.
Well, there's another. Okay, so I think I mentioned this to you that there's another new promotion starting up, and they've got Ethan Page on the first show against I don't know who, but
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you were mentioning that before.
they just announced that they're going to be announcing another big name. So mm,
Wonder who?
we shall see. We shall see. And then there's Ethan Page's Alpha One.
Yeah, I missed their last show, but yeah,
You hear anything
Hamilton's
about it?
Hamilton's literally 25 minutes away from me.
Oh wow.
And I think they're doing another one in May, so I'm gonna
Okay.
try to pull up. It'll be my first my first indie show. I've only ever been to AEW shows, so
Yeah.
looking forward to that intimate experience.
I'll let you know a little secret. I try to reach out to Ethan Page to try and maybe get some appearance type thing just when he started Alpha One and strictly to talk about Alpha One, but
Right.
no response. So whatever.
I imagine you'd probably have to go through the AEW channels since
Yeah, that's what I kind of figured. I'm
technically
like,
still.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no, I've heard they don't play, and it's hard to circumvent their chain of command.
and that's fine. I totally dig it. Eventually, we'll be invited to Scrum one day. You'll see.
Yeah, just takes time.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, yo, man, it's been an interesting weekend.
It has.
I definitely was looking forward to discussing this with you because this is taking up the entire goddamn weekend. And like I said, I'm really I could go for a WWE break right now.
Well, honestly, I'm good for just a wrestling break in general for a few days. I
Yeah,
mean, these two shows, Ring of Honor. I tried to catch a bit of the Stardom show, but yeah, I'm kind of all wrestled out.
Yeah, straight up.
So yeah, maybe I'll skip Raw and you know just catch Dynamite and then go from there.
There you go. All right. Well, yo, it's always a Slizzy. We'll be back again. I think we'll do the preview the night before Fight at the Museum. If I'm not
Cool.
mistaken.
I'm with that. Looking forward to it.
And then we'll catch the rest of y'all then too. So on behalf of Eloquent and myself, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back. You'll see us again.
It'll be easy.
All right. Peace.
All right, be easy. Cheers.